Hokage, I became Naruto's dark personality. Chapter 1 Blackened Personality System. Ding. Congratulations to host for successfully crossing over. Looking for the son of the plane to seize the body. Warning, warning. Host soul strength is too low, body capture failed. System assisted intervention. Intervention successful. Host successfully seizes the suppressed negative personality. Checking host status. The system is being adapted and transformed. In a grey darkness, Fengxu was awakened by this cold mechanical voice. What's wrong with me? Looking at the complete darkness around him, Fengxu's face was full of confusion. Didn't I just squat on the toilet and write a movie review of the latest Hokage movie? What a flash of God's kung fu appeared in this dark place, and the time travel that the mechanical voice just talked about. Thinking of this, Fengxu's spirit was lifted. Travel through time, and take away the negative personality. And that mechanical sound just now, is it a standard system for time travelers? With disbelief, Fengxu quickly stood up and looked at the surrounding environment. It's just that everything you can see is pitch black with no bottom. Fengxu couldn't tell where he had traveled through time. Just when he was about to ask about the mechanical sound that sounded like a system, a stinging pain suddenly occurred in his mind. It was as if there was a steel needle stirring up his brain. Then countless mixed memory scenes flashed quickly. A Konoha orphan without a father or mother. They were ostracized and isolated by the villagers. I have to face so many looks of disgust and hatred every day. He was also called a monster and used harsh words. I often go hungry and don't have enough to eat, so I have to dig wild vegetables and fish. The flashes of these memory scenes made Fengxu immersed in the scene. It's as if these experiences were all his own. All of a sudden, all kinds of negative emotions came to my mind. His expression became ferocious and crazy. It wasn't until a while later that he gradually calmed down and regained his composure. I didn't expect that I would travel to the world of Hokage. He also relied on the system to take away Naruto's darkened personality. The mechanical sounds from before plus the extra memories. As a time traveler, Fengxu instantly understood his current situation. He became the dark personality deep in Naruto's consciousness, still suppressed by the Asura chakra until he was extremely weak. It's just a dark personality filled with emotions and no thinking? It is precisely because of this that Fengxu, who has a weak soul, succeeded in seizing the body. Follow the development history of the Hokage Central Plains plot. The number of times this dark personality appeared because of Naruto's rampage was also very rare. Every time he appears, he fights and destroys like a beast. There is no thinking and IQ like normal people at all. There is no thought that takes over the body and becomes the dominant personality. Actions are simply dominated by extreme negative emotions, coupled with the positive and optimistic personality, and the double suppression of Asura chakra. The final result is naturally to be pressed to the deepest part of consciousness. There was no chance of getting out. But things are different now. The thoughtless black personality is gone. Some are just souls from the 21st century, and it also comes with a system. Since Naruto has thrown all these negative emotions to me, who has a dark personality, then it's reasonable for me to take away the life of a good person like you. Although Fengxu had a smile on his face, but his eyes were filled with a frightening chill. He is not Naruto who was brainwashed by the third generation and influenced by Asura chakra since childhood. After experiencing Naruto's suffocating life from childhood to adulthood, he felt deeply disgusted and disappointed with Naruto's humble idea of trying to please everyone. How to repay kindness with kindness. The world kisses me with sorrow, and I must respond with pain. Let them all fight against rice. Therefore, Naruto's positive personality with distorted values is not worthy of the main personality. P.S. These are all written randomly in novels. Just take a look. In real life, we still need to be truthful, kind, and beautiful, and establish correct values. It was as if he felt the storm in Fengxu's heart. The mechanical sound soon sounded again. System adaptation and transformation completed. The black personality system is successfully activated. Host, Fengxu. Blackening value, 0. Host personality dependence/trust value, 0%. Master ninjutsu, seduction technique, 3 body technique for beginners. System description. This system is designed to help the host become stronger and help the host occupy the body and become the main personality. Dark personality system. It's very relevant to my current situation. Looking at the panel that appeared in front of me with the sound of machinery, Fengxu was not too surprised. Then he turned his attention to the next 2 values. Blackening value. Host personality dependence/trust value. System, what are these values? After hearing Fengxu's inquiry, the system's mechanical sound sounded again. The blackening value is the intense emotion generated by the main personality. The greater the emotional fluctuations of the main personality, the more blackening value is obtained. Different amounts of blackening value can be used to unlock and learn ninjutsu of different difficulties. The personality dependence/trust value is the sum of the personality's dependence and trust on the host. The higher the level, the shallower the depth of consciousness the host is in, and the stronger the control over the body. Note, after reaching 10%, the host can have a conversation with the host at any time without the host's mood fluctuating significantly. 20% can hear external sounds in the conscious space, and 30% can see external images. At 50%, you can actively switch personalities, but you will encounter resistance from the main personality, resulting in a decrease in trust. 80% host will become the main personality, and the main personality will become the secondary personality. 100% host will become the only personality, and the sub-personality will completely disappear or choose to be separated. Note, host can master all the abilities of the host personality without any dependency. The host's ability cannot be controlled by the host's consent and will not be shared by other personalities. The systematic explanation exactly corresponds to the previous gist. Fengxu also understood the significance of these two values. One is used to become stronger, and the other is to help him become the master personality. As for the final comment, Fengxu could only say one sentence. The system is awesome. The system that received the compliment also replied with a mechanical voice. Everything is for host service. Just when Fengxu was about to ask something, a sudden flood of negative emotions came over me. Let Fengxu generate endless anger and murderous intent out of thin air. At the same time, the blackening value on the system panel also jumped rapidly. Blackening value plus 10. Blackening value plus 5. Blackening value plus 20. Just when the blackening value jumped to 120, the negative emotions that swept Fengxu's mind finally dissipated. Fengxu also panted slightly, frowning in thought. Is this the time when Naruto went on a rampage for the first time and beat Mizuki with multiple shadow clone? No, in that case, there should be an additional multiple shadow clone on the ability panel. Before Fengxu could finish thinking, the originally dark surroundings began to quickly become brighter. It was like emerging from the dark depths of the sea, until Fengxu appeared in front of him, a lonely figure wearing goggles and sitting on a swing holding his head. That's Naruto. Chapter 2 First Conversation. Outside Konoha Ninja School, Naruto, holding his head, was sitting on the swing with a gloomy expression. Under the rays of the setting sun, the small body is lonely and lonely. The shadows on the ground were also stretched out. In the distance are the students and parents who are gradually dispersing to go home. Even though we have gone quite far, Naruto could still hear some. Don't get too close to that monster in school. It's time to graduate. Why hasn't this monster dropped out of school yet? I really hope this monster dies soon. I heard that this monster also damaged the Hokage rock this afternoon. It's really disgusting and disgusting. Such whispered curses and curses. This whispering and pointing behind my back. Naruto, who was sitting on the swing, buried his head deeper. The expression on his face was also one of pain, confusion, and confusion. He didn't understand what he had done. Only then will he be hated and isolated by everyone from childhood to adulthood. Even when you scold him, you have to avoid scolding him behind his back. I don't want to have any superficial contact with him. But this emotion went away just as quickly as it came. It didn't take long for it to be pressed deep into my heart. It's as if there is an invisible person deep in my heart, helping him bear these painful emotions silently. Instead, he drowned in the dark sea of the past. Let him have enough emotions to face life positively and optimistically. Thinking like this, Naruto quickly changed from feeling depressed to full of energy. The sadness and pain just now all sank to the deepest level as expected. He clenched his fists and shouted with firm eyes toward the crowd whose backs could no longer be seen. I will definitely become a Hokage. Then let you all agree with me. It's just that the crowd has already walked away, and no one answered Naruto at all. After shouting, Naruto suddenly thought of something. He turned his head and looked in the direction of the school entrance. Why isn't Mr. Iruka here yet? Didn't he say he wanted to punish me for cleaning the Hokage rock? Did I use seduction this afternoon to make him angry? Because tomorrow is their Genin graduation exam. So Iruka held a pre-exam ninjutsu test. Then Naruto, who was weak in the 3 body skills, used seduction skills in an attempt to get through. As a result, Iruka had a nosebleed on the spot. He bowed for a long time without daring to stand upright. It's just a good thing if you don't come, I won't bother to clean it up. Even though Naruto said so, but the disappointment on his face could not be concealed at all. After all, he does mischief to attract others' care and attention. Even if this care and attention is not with good intentions. But it's better than being ignored, isolated, and cursed behind your back. In Naruto's shallow consciousness, looking at Naruto who was about to get up and leave, Fengxu frowned in thought. I was just cursed and cursed by the villagers behind my back, and I was temporarily released from the depths of my consciousness. Fengxu originally thought that he would have to wait until Naruto's mood fluctuated violently before he could be released. I didn't expect that just having some negative emotions would work. If it is like this. Fengxu looked into the void around him and shouted, System, I want to switch personalities. Personality switching. Ding! The host's negative emotions are not enough, and the host switching failed. It really doesn't work. Fengxu was not disappointed with the failure of the switch. It seems that he has only temporarily gained the outside world's vision and the authority to talk to Naruto. Speaking of the authority of dialogue, Fengxu looked at Naruto again. Iruka was punished by cleaning the Hokage rock, and he also used seduction. Naruto had never done this before by graffitiing the Hokage rock and then cleaning it. Coupled with the use of seduction on Iruka, Fengxu can basically determine the current time period. It should be when the plot of the original novel just started. Tomorrow night is when Naruto steals the sealed book and goes berserk for the first time. Fengxu's frown spread away, and a smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. The time is just right. It's not that you have to wait too long if you come too early. It's not that I came too late and missed a good opportunity. At this time, Naruto didn't have that many friends he could rely on and trust. It's a good time for Fengxu to take advantage of the situation. Besides, Naruto is me, I am Naruto. If he doesn't trust and rely on me, who else can he trust and rely on? Fengxu put away the smile on his lips and was not ready to waste any more time. Naruto's mood has stabilized now. It won't be long before he has to sink into the depths of consciousness again. So he had to quickly reveal his existence to Naruto. Let Naruto know that he is not alone. It also let Naruto know where those negative emotions went. With Naruto's kindness, he would definitely feel quite guilty after knowing this. With these guilty emotions, it should be okay for him to temporarily take the initiative in speaking. Thinking like this, Fengxu raised his hand and touched Naruto in front of him. There was also a shout out of his mouth. Uzumaki Naruto. Outside world. Naruto got up and was about to leave. A voice calling his name suddenly sounded in his mind. And the voice gave him a familiar feeling. He immediately retracted his steps and turned his head to look around. Who is calling me? But as soon as Naruto shouted, the expression on his face became a little confused. The voice that just sounded was exactly the same as his own speaking voice. Even the volume of the sound is the same. It was as if he called his own name and was heard by himself. He seemed to be frightened by his own thoughts. Naruto quickly shook his head, trying to throw this horrifying thought out of his mind. But the more he tried to get it out of his head, the more the idea took hold. Finally, Naruto whispered his name, wanting to make a comparison. Uzumaki Naruto. Before Naruto could make a comparison, the voice in his head sounded again. Well, it's me. Upon hearing the response, Naruto's expression instantly changed from confusion to horror. Then there was a deafening scream and the sound of running. Ah, there's a ghost. Fengxu. Looking at Naruto who was running and crying, Fengxu saw a black line on his forehead. I'm not a ghost, I'm in your head, I am you, Uzumaki Naruto. Inside my head. Naruto's expression became even more horrified. The screams increased by several decibels again. Help? Grandpa third generation? Uncle Ichiraku? Mr. Iruka. I'm possessed by a ghost. Fengxu. No. Forget it, let you feel it yourself. Fengxu was too lazy to talk to Naruto who was afraid of ghosts. Directly open the permissions and transfer part of the memory to the past. Outside, Naruto's running footsteps suddenly stopped. A large amount of negative emotions and dark and painful memories came in like a tide, wrapping him up completely. His whole face became distorted and crazy. His eyes were filled with endless resentment. These memories and emotions come and go just as quickly. In less than a breath, Naruto returned to normal. The pain and darkness were pushed back to Fengxu's side. Chapter 3 Initial Gaining Trust. Fengxu's voice sounded again. I am the personality who bears these painful memories on your behalf. Do you understand now? Because of those emotions and memories, Fengxu's tone was as cold as the cold wind. Gives people a chilling feeling. Naruto had seen Fengxu's tone too many times from other people. Suddenly he was breathing heavily with a dark expression. I understand. And, I'm sorry, He had long felt that there was something there, helping him bear those memories and emotions. So Naruto quickly accepted the fact that he had other personalities. After accepting it, a lot of guilt quickly appeared on Naruto's face. I won't let you go through this alone again. I will help you share the pain and help you. How are you going to help? Fengxu interrupted Naruto with a sneer. Let me be the main personality, and you will be the sub-personality to bear this. Hearing Fengxu's rhetorical question, Naruto fell silent without answering. Judging from the memory just transmitted, it does take a personality to bear those painful memories. The thought of enduring the torture of those dark, abyss-like past day and night. Naruto flinched. And Naruto didn't dare to give his body to Fengxu. He felt the resentment and anger that came from his memory and wanted to destroy everything. Although he had these emotions before. Thinking of this, Naruto became even more silent and guilty. If he hadn't had these emotions, maybe the second personality in his mind wouldn't have such thoughts of destroying everything. Maybe he can temporarily lend his body to the second personality in his mind every once in a while? But can I get it back after giving it away? In the time given, will I continue to be tortured by those memories? Naruto's mood now is quite tangled and complicated. I also have mixed feelings about the sudden appearance of my personality, and I don't know how to deal with it. Fengxu felt extremely clearly what Naruto was thinking now, also very satisfied with Naruto's guilt. He has the help of the system and can block his own authority, but Naruto didn't, so it's easy to operate now. He wanted to explain and eliminate Naruto's worries one by one and gain initial trust. After that, we will find a way to make Naruto's trust and dependence reach 10%, so that he can talk to him at any time. Thinking of this, the coldness in Fengxu's tone dissipated and became a little softer. Naruto, I have no intention of competing with you for my body right now. Remember what I said before. I am you and you are me. We are the opposite of the same object and a community of interests. The two of us distrusting and relying on each other and fighting among ourselves will only make this body suffer. Working together to make this body live a better life is a win-win situation, and I can suffer less. Besides, you are the main personality. Even if I temporarily take control of the body, you can take back control at any time. And the main reason why I was born was to bear those memories and emotions. Every word Fengxu said could not be truer. It's just that he didn't finish telling the truth. There was still a lot left. He really didn't want to fight for his body right now. He just wanted to cooperate with Naruto to gain trust and dependence, and if he wanted to steal it, he would steal it later. Moreover, when the degree of trust and dependence is low, the main personality does have the greatest control over the body. Even if your emotions go crazy, you can take back control of your body at any time. The final reason for birth is even simpler. It was originally relying on Ajura Chakra to forcefully guide Naruto on the path of the child of destiny. Those emotions and memories that have been forcibly suppressed will naturally give birth to new consciousness. The wind that occupies this new consciousness is of course the consciousness itself. While Fengxu was speaking, he also opened up some permissions. Therefore, like Fengxu, Naruto could clearly sense whether what the other party said was true or false. Immediately, the gloom and anxiety on the little face were swept away, replaced by happiness and excitement. So that's it? Then we will be friends from now on. I will secretly let you out to play in the future, as long as you don't hurt others. When Naruto said this, the system also sent a message. Host personality dependence/trust value, 21%. It's actually 21%. Fengxu was a little surprised when he saw the system message. He also found that the space of consciousness that had slowly darkened and sunk had regained its brightness. Ruao's terrifying suppression also dissipated by half in an instant. Tip: gaining initial trust is simple and artificially high, and it can easily fall back. For example, if the host does something that is not in line with the host's personality, it may drop to 0% in the next second. At the same time, host not only requires trust, but also requires dependence on the host personality. If only one trust wants to be stacked to 100%, it will be a long and highly unlikely process. Fengxu understood the meaning of the system as soon as he heard it. It is this trust and dependence that is best to improve at the beginning, but it is easy to lose. And you can't just focus on one point, you have to grasp it with both hands. It is difficult for individual trust and dependence to accumulate to 100%, but it is easy for the two together. What 21%? Naruto 2, what are you talking about? Although Fengxu's exclamation just now was not loud, Naruto heard it quite clearly. This is the voice in his head? I'm counting some things that are good for us at 21%. Also, don't call me Naruto number 2. I just renamed myself Uzumaki Fengxu. Fengxu originally had no intention of intervening in this initial plot. However, trust depends on this thing, and the fewer objects, the better. Then he needs to find a way to squeeze Iruka away. As unreal as the wind. Naruto nodded like a little adult. As expected of the other me, he is so educated and smart. After praising him, he immediately turned around and asked about the 21%. Something good for us. Fengxu, do you have a way to make me become Hokage, or make everyone in the village like me? This was the most beneficial thing Naruto could think of. Fengxu, you really think highly of me, but I don't have that ability. Host personality trust dependence value, 11%. The beneficial thing I said is to help you pass the ninja school graduation exam. The exam will test the 3 body techniques. Do you think you can pass and become a genin? Host personality trust dependence value, 30%. Help me pass the graduation exam. Naruto outside jumped 3 feet high with joy. If Fengxu didn't say anything, he almost forgot about this matter. You know, he has been repeating the grade for 2 years. Now they are in the same grade as Sasuke, who entered school 2 years after him. At the beginning of the manga, Naruto is said to have failed the graduation exam twice, which can be understood as Naruto entered school at the age of 4. Sure. Fengxu's words were full of confidence. Just kidding, he is a time traveler who knows where the plot is going. First find the cleaning tools to clean the Hokage rock. I will tell you the details on the way. Counting the time, Iruka should be here soon. Okay, I'll go find it right away. Naruto didn't care about cleaning either. He now wants to know how he can pass the exam and become a glorious genin. Chapter 4 Blackening Value Exchange. He actually took the initiative to come over and do some cleaning to make up for his mistakes. Naruto, you have really grown up. The teacher is so pleased. Iruka squatted on the stone next to Hokage rock, with tears in his eyes. He was delayed by Mizuki asking about Naruto's situation. I thought Naruto would sneak out and continue causing trouble. I didn't expect that I would take the initiative to clean the Hokage rock. It's really incredible. Even the most mischievous Naruto has now changed his ways. Does this mean that his teaching level is getting higher and higher, and he has the qualifications to be the principal of a ninja school? Then mention his teaching title next year. 3rd generation adults should also agree, right? The more he thought about it, the hotter his heart became, and Iruka even laughed out loud. Seeing Iruka crying and laughing, Naruto didn't bother to pay attention. He just wants to finish cleaning quickly and go to teacher Mizuki to ask him to help him steal the sealed book. Iruka, who dreamed of a perfect future, felt that Naruto was particularly pleasing to his eye at the moment. He immediately said, Naruto, in order to reward you for being better, after cleaning, I will treat you to ramen, teacher. Eat as much as you want until you feel like vomiting. Ramen. Naruto looked surprised. Although it's not expensive, it's not something he can afford regularly as a person who relies on relief rations. However, the expression of surprise soon stopped and became very confusing. After a long while, he reluctantly refused. No, I'm going to find Grandpa 3rd generation after I finish cleaning. These were all the words Fengxu had prepared for Naruto in advance. Naruto didn't have time to eat ramen until night, so he had to find Mizuki while he was still in school. Otherwise, when Mizuki comes home, it won't be easy to ask around and attract attention. Is this so? Iruka was very aware of Naruto's relationship with third generation, so he didn't ask any more questions. But seeing the reluctance and frustration on Naruto's face, he said a little funny, "If it doesn't work today, I'll do it tomorrow. If it doesn't work tomorrow, I'll do it the day after tomorrow. If I say I'll treat you to ramen, teacher, I'll definitely treat you to it." Hearing Iruka's words, Naruto's eyes lit up again. They danced and cheered, "Long live Iruka-sensei." Within the space of consciousness, Fengxu did not stop or interfere with the conversation between Iruka and Naruto outside. Anyway, the plan has been arranged for Naruto. If nothing else, Iruka is at best a teacher who is better than Naruto. He won't be as important a character as Naruto's father. He is now more concerned about the ninjutsu that can be unlocked by the blackening value. Azura Chakra. Blackening value, 3 million, don't get it wrong, this is the cost of redemption. Nine Tails Chakra. Blackening value, 100,000. Iruka Chakra. Blackening value, 100. There are not many that can be unlocked, only a few. These were all collected by the system after Naruto had close contact with them. If you want to unlock it, you have to spend the blackening value to parse it. And this analysis is not only chakra, but also the accompanying ninjutsu. It seems that I can only redeem Iruka's strength now. Looking at his mere blackening value of 120, Fengxu frowned. To be honest, he didn't want to waste the blackening value to change. After all, Naruto's strength has surpassed Iruka's after learning multiple shadow clone. But his current strength is no different from Naruto's, and is not at the level of an ordinary genin. Moreover, the plot of stealing the sealed book was also tampered with. Therefore, we must make some preparations and gain some strength to deal with it. Although Umbu is protected by the third generation, he is occasionally monitored by the third generation using telescopes. But relying on others is only a bad idea after all, and relying on yourself is the safest option. System, can I redeem a single ninjutsu under the corresponding chakra individually? The system did not answer, but directly presented the exchange list just displayed. Azura Chakra. Truth-seeking ball 2 million. Wood-style ninjutsu, 600,000. Super shadow level physical skills, 180,000. Immortal body, 200,000. High Feng pill 5000. Wind release ninjutsu 2000. Nine Tails Chakra. Yin 9 Tails, 50,000. Yang 9 Tails, 50,000. One Tail Chakra mode 2000. Two Tail Chakra mode 8000. Three Tails Chakra mode 14,000. Eight Tails Chakra mode 44,000. Iruka Chakra. Shinin Taijutsu 50. 3 body skills, 10. Various ninjutsu 40. Seeing the detailed list manifested, Fengxu's lips twitched. Still can't afford to replace it? The minimum price of this powerful one is several thousand to tens of thousands, which is really not something that a poor man like him can afford. But looking at Iruka's physical skills that required 50 blackening points to be redeemed, Fengxu had an idea. Shinin generally doesn't have much ninjutsu and not much chakra. Most of the time, physical skills are used, as well as weapons such as hidden weapon detonators. System, if I exchange Chunin Taijutsu, will the Chunin Taijutsu I exchange for other people's Chunin Taijutsu be superimposed? Host exchanges the same technique with different people, and the power can be superimposed. For example, if the host continuously accumulates and exchanges Chunin Taijutsu, it can be upgraded to Jonin Taijutsu. However, the cost will be much more than directly redeeming Jonin Taijutsu. I hope the host will make a careful decision. It's actually possible to superimpose power. Fengxu looked surprised. Taijutsu is a practical skill that every ninja knows and often uses. In this case, he can completely exchange all the physical skills he can see. There is no need to worry about losing money. It is definitely more practical than exchanging multiple ninjutsu. And don't forget Kai's 8 Gates dungeon. As his physical skills continue to accumulate, the power released by the 8 Gates armor may be enough to kill Kaguya with one kick. Then I will mainly use physical skills as an exchange from now on, and then save the blackening points to exchange for powerful ninjutsu. Fengxu immediately made plans for his future. But he doesn't plan to change it now, he still wants to save it to see. Outside, Naruto finished cleaning the Hokage rock as quickly as possible. After saying goodbye to Iruka, he returned to the ninja school. And he had good luck, too. I happened to meet Mizuki who was wandering around the school, asking about something with other teachers. It's Naruto, I know you, the naughty guy in Iruka's class. Did you come to me specifically for something? Being blocked by Naruto, Mizuki was smiling, but his eyes were flashing with various thoughts. Teacher Mizuki, can you tell me about the sealed book? As soon as Naruto finished speaking, Mizuki's expression changed. The smile at the corner of his mouth disappeared, and he stared at him with a sinister expression. Could it be that his plan was exposed? Seeing Mizuki's expression, Naruto was also a little scared. He repeatedly recounted what Fengxu had taught him. Teacher, don't be angry. I just accidentally heard you talking about it when you were chatting with others. You said that thing records a lot of powerful ninjutsu. I just want to try to learn it so I can graduate from school. After hearing Naruto's explanation, Mizuki also realized that his reaction was too big and quickly put on a smile again. Looking at Naruto who had failed to graduate twice, an idea suddenly came to his mind. Sorry, the teacher was a little too aggressive just now. After all, this book of seals is the treasure of our village. But if you learn the above ninjutsu, it will be very simple to graduate from school. Chapter 5 Plan to contact Mizuki in advance. Mizuki told the location he had investigated. At the same time, he instilled in Naruto the idea that he could graduate by learning ninjutsu. And Naruto also followed Fengxu's arrangement and revealed to Mizuki his idea of stealing if he failed the exam tomorrow. This also made the smile on Mizuki's face brighter and his tone more intimate. He planned to kill people and steal goods after Naruto stole the sealed book. Once Naruto dies, he might be able to release the demon fox from 12 years ago. By then no one would have time to pay attention to him. He was also able to escape with the sealed book unharmed. Just when Naruto and Mizuki combined their efforts. Inside the Hokage's office in the center of Konoha, Sarutobi Hiruzen smoked a dry cigarette and looked at the crystal ball on the table in front of him with evil eyes. The art of telescope. As long as you remember a person's chakra, you can use this technique to view it from a distance. But the range is only the size of the entire Konoha village. Naruto actually discovered his little tricks. This guy Mizuki is really useless. He was already well aware of Mizuki's recent behavior of asking around for the book of sealing. Of course, they didn't take it seriously. Just an ordinary chunin who doesn't deserve to be on the stage. No matter how much trouble there is, there won't be any trouble. However, he could use this opportunity to test Naruto and send Kushina's ninjutsu over. After all, this is Nine Tails Jinchuriki, a big killer. He has been taught and raised for so long, but he cannot continue to be useless like this. And as the grandfather who loves Naruto the most, not punishing him afterwards will help Naruto know his love. Hidden in the darkness behind Sarutobi Hiruzen, the Hokage belongs directly to Anbu. Seeing Sarutobi Hiruzen looking at the crystal ball with a cold expression, he suddenly appeared and asked softly, "Master Hokage, do you need us to cut off him? Konoha is a big tree, and if there is a problem with the branches and buds on it, it naturally needs to be cut off." Sarutobi Hiruzen put down the cigarette in his mouth and shook his head. "No, just let Anbu keep an eye on it. By the way, go ask someone to find me a blank scroll." He was going to make a fake sealed book. Just put multiple shadow clone on it. With Naruto's Uzumaki clan's ability to draw, he could naturally learn it as easily as her mother. After receiving the order, the Anbu replied yes and disappeared in a flash. Naruto, who was separated from Mizuki, quickly shuttled across the roof. Each foot stepped very hard, making a roaring sound. At the same time, he also burst into gleeful laughter. This immediately provoked a burst of abuse from the villagers in the house below, especially when I poked my head out and saw that the person traveling through was Naruto. The curses became even more vicious and limitless. It wasn't until Naruto returned home that he stopped hearing the curses. Blackening value +1. Blackening value +2. Current blackening value, 320. As soon as he got home, Naruto lay down on his bed, and the smile on his face disappeared instantly. "Fengxu, when should we set off tonight?" "That's right, if you steal anything tomorrow, it will all be a lie to Mizuki. Only in this way can Iruka be prevented from participating." Moreover, Fengxu was certain that the conversation between Naruto and Mizuki must have been monitored by third generation. Let Naruto take action tonight because he wants to see if he can find the real sealed book. After all, ninjutsu such as Flying Thunder God, Imperfect Earth Reincarnation, and Seal of Ghouls still make him covet. There's no rush, let's continue walking around outside twice, do some damage, and then steal the sealed book. Hearing what Fengxu said, Naruto's face was full of confusion and resistance. "Ah, didn't you do it when you came back just now? I don't want to hear them scold me anymore, it's unpleasant and uncomfortable." It's okay to get scolded once or twice a day, but after too many times, he was afraid that he would have that emotion again and eventually pass it on to Fengxu. "It's okay, we just have to face this kind of thing positively. You are affected only if you are scolded less. If you are scolded too much, you will naturally feel nothing." Just after returning all the way, he made a net profit of 200 blackening points. Of course, Fengxu would not miss this opportunity. Maybe if you spin a few more times, you can collect 2,000. Then redeem it directly for one tail chakra mode. As for the original 9 tails in Naruto's body, Fengxu had no intention of touching it. He is not the main personality, what if 9 tails attacks his soul? Minato and Kushina's chakra really may not come forward to protect him. Okay, you are right. We will leave as soon as I have a bowl of instant noodles." With that said, Naruto picked up the instant noodles on the table and started to boil hot water. At the same time, I took out half a carton of milk from the refrigerator. Through Naruto's vision, Fengxu could see very clearly. The expiration dates on those items were all months past their expiry date. Damn stupid villagers! You just take it out on a kid who doesn't know anything? As well as third generation and Danzo, I will definitely settle this account with you clearly in the future. These memories of stomachache or diarrhea after eating are still fresh in Fengxu's memory. He immediately stopped him and said, "Don't eat expired food. This is my body too. Don't you still have money? Let's go eat Ichiraku ramen." Naruto looked hesitant, "But we don't have much money, and we still have half a month to live. And these things are not necessarily bad. I have eaten them many times without any stomachache." Naruto was interrupted by Fengxu before he finished speaking. "Don't worry about money, I will find a way. Go to Ichiraku ramen now, immediately." Fengxu was relieved by the owner of Ichiraku ramen, who had always been very good to Naruto. He would certainly not feed this body expired food. If you have wind deficiency, you don't have to worry about experiencing abdominal cramps and diarrhea again. Yeah. Naruto nodded happily and ran out the door. In addition to Grandpa third generation, he feels like he has another person he can rely on. Host personality relies on trust value. 31. After eating Ichiraku ramen happily, Naruto followed Fengxu's instructions and went to the stores that sold him expired food. He didn't do anything, just moved a small chair to the door and sat down. While stopping people entering the store, he talked to the passersby. The owner of this store was so nice to him, selling things for free, and often subsidizing him. It makes sense and is just like the truth. In short, everyone glared at the boss and planned to never come to this store again. Naturally, the boss was not used to Naruto. He cursed and hit Naruto with his hands. Naruto, who has the strength of Genin, is naturally not afraid of store owners who are just ordinary people. While dodging the attack, he yelled, "Boss, I understand," and wanted to put on a show for them, and then screamed exaggeratedly. In short, under the blessing of various emotions, Fengxu made another 400 blackening points. This also made Fengxu understand that just making Naruto sad and painful would not have blackening value. The pleasure that Naruto brings when he takes revenge on others can also be counted as a blackening value. However, when I was happy, the blackening value was not generated. Host personality trust dependence value, 33. Current blackening value, 720. Although it is still not enough to exchange, Fengxu does not intend to continue to waste time. He said to Naruto, who was about to piss off the store owner, "Naruto, it's time to act." Chapter 6 Stole the Real Book of Seals. Inside the mansion of the Sarutobi clan, Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at the crystal ball with interest. "Naruto, this guy is really interesting, very good. With such a commotion, this store owner really can't explain it clearly. I'm afraid he won't be able to do business in the future." He was very appreciative of what Naruto had done. Moreover, he also knew that this store often sold Naruto's expired food, so he was not considered innocent. "Oh, if Asuma can have Naruto's skills, then I can save a lot of worry." Asuma thought about quarreling with himself and becoming a guardian ninja. Sarutobi Hiruzen couldn't help but sigh. "My son's ideas and paths are not in line with my own, so he is considered useless. Therefore, he must pay more attention to his grandson Konohamaru. It would allow him to get closer to Naruto and learn from Naruto's cunning little tricks." Thinking like this, Naruto in the crystal ball started to move again. "This is my house." The Sarutobi clan's mansion is not far from the commercial street, and it is considered to be in a pretty good location in Konoha. Sarutobi Hiruzen has brought a lot of benefits to the family during his reign over the years. However, they are low-key on the surface and do not have the same limelight as the Hyuga clan. But the hidden comprehensive strength has already exceeded a lot. It is not an exaggeration to say that they are the truly largest clan in Konoha. "Didn't you say you came to steal it tonight?" Good guy, this kid actually saw clearly what Mizuki was thinking and even played tricks on Mizuki. As he spoke, he also used the telescope technique to check Mizuki. He found Mizuki lying on his bed having fun. It seems that he is dreaming about learning the ninjutsu of the sealed book and reaching the pinnacle of his life. What a waste. No wonder you would want to take advantage of a genin who has not graduated. With disdain and disgust on his face, Sarutobi Hiruzen ordered toward the darkness beside him. Find a way to remind Mizuki and let him know that Naruto has started to take action. He also needed Mizuki to test Naruto. Use danger to detect the nine-tails seal on Naruto. Let's see if we can release Naruto safely and use it. Yes. A white Tengo mask appeared in the darkness and then disappeared. Sarutobi Hiruzen withdrew his gaze and looked at the crystal ball again. At the same time, he also rolled up the half-copied scroll on the document. This little guy really doesn't make people worry. I was just lazy, but the preparation turned out to be useless. After saying that, he stood up and walked out of the room. Fortunately, this multiple shadow clone is the first one in the Book of Sealings. Let Naruto steal it and learn it, and then let Ambu stop it. But I still have to put away the other sealed books, lest this little guy Naruto steals the wrong ones. The books of seals all record forbidden techniques. That is, A-class, S-class, and ninjutsu that cause great damage to the body. There are so many ninjutsu that they can't even fit into one scroll. Besides, it's not that Sarutobi Hiruzen looked down on Naruto. In addition to the multiple shadow clone that Jinchuriki of the Uzumaki clan can learn quickly, Naruto can't learn other ninjutsu even if he gives it a few months. Sarutobi Hiruzen looked like he was giving alms, but Fengxu didn't see it. Otherwise, I really want to say something through Naruto's mouth. A shameless old guy who eats everything? Return the things that belong to Naruto, and act like you are taking care of the junior. How disgusting! Why did you come to my house in the middle of the night? Seduction. After the grandiose cry, there was the sound of blood spurting and falling to the ground. With an excited smile on his face, Naruto came to the bookshelf where he was stored. At a glance, I saw a big nameplate, "The sealed book is here." Found it. Naruto had no doubts and picked up the large scroll in the grid above the nameplate. He carried it behind his back, then turned around and ran out of the mansion. Mizuki, who received the reminder, had just arrived. He happened to see Naruto leaving Sarutobi's mansion carrying a scroll. Suddenly his eyes were splitting, and he was extremely angry. "Damn you little fox demon, how dare you play tricks on me? If Iruka hadn't found your person to ask me, I would have been fooled by you." The Irika Mizuki was talking about was of course Umbu's person pretending to be here, specifically to remind Mizuki. After being reminded, Shuimu understood immediately and ran straight over here. Looking at Naruto walking away, he naturally did not have time to inform Irika and other ninjas as in the original plot. Coupled with the anger of being played by a kid, Mizuki immediately pulled away and followed him. As soon as he reached a deserted place, he would immediately kill Naruto to vent his hatred. Fengxu, where are we going now? Are we going home? Naruto, who was carrying the scroll on his back, was extremely excited and could not hide the excitement in his voice. Compared with this incident, the previous mischief was just like children playing house. How can I practice ninjutsu when I get home? Go to the Death Forest in the northeast, where there are fewer people. Fengxu casually mentioned a place, and then stared at the list given by the system. Multiple Shadow Clone Technique, 500. Flying Thunder God Technique, 3000. Reincarnation of the Dirty Soil, Remnant 1500. Rasengan 2000. There are actually 4 techniques. Is this really true? Fengxu's voice could not conceal his excitement and surprise. Although there are only 4 techniques, each of them is awesome. Because there is no matching chakra, the blackening value required is obviously much less. But this doesn't matter, the chakra of the Uzumaki clan is enough. Even if that's not enough, there's also half of Nine Tails chakra. This chakra is actually a trivial matter, mainly because these ninjutsu are difficult to learn. If Fengxu didn't have a system, he could learn directly and successfully. He really had no intention of using the sealed book Jonin technique. But the blackening value on hand is still not enough. It's really heart-wrenching to see. Fengxu's feeling at this time was like entering a treasure mountain and returning empty-handed, unable to spend money guarding the golden mountain. I hope Shuimu can be more powerful later and give me more blackening points. Even if it's not enough to exchange for Flying Thunder God, I can at least exchange it for One Tail Chakra mode. Mizuki was originally a test for Naruto. Fengxu fully believed that Mizuki would be tricked by 3rd generation. Outside, as soon as Naruto entered the Forest of Death, he couldn't wait to find a place to sit down. Then open the sealed book and start looking at the contents above. Multiple Shadow Clone Technique, Flying Thunder God Technique, Earth Reincarnation Technique, Rasengan. It's so difficult. I can't understand the last 3, so I'd better learn the first one. As long as I learn how to do it, I will definitely shine on the exam tomorrow and surprise that guy Sasuke. Thinking that he could show off in front of his friends tomorrow, Naruto felt refreshed all over. Even learning the multiple Shadow Clone techniques feels extremely smooth. But he was only halfway through learning when he heard Fengxu's reminder. There's a hidden weapon attack from behind, get out of the way. Chapter 7 Naruto collapses and switches personalities. Whoosh whoosh. A dozen kunai were shot from the tree behind Naruto with strong wind. Naruto, who heard Fengxu's reminder, was too close to avoid it. Who is attacking me? Naruto, frightened and angry, looked back. At a glance, he saw Mizuki standing on the branch of a tree and sneering. Teacher Mizuki, how come? Didn't I tell you that I just went to steal it? Seeing that Naruto dared to talk about this matter, Mizuki was so angry that his eyes and nose were crooked. He was a Chunin, and was actually tricked by a quasi-genin brat. If you tell me, it will really make everyone laugh for the rest of their lives? Damn little beast, do you really think others can see through this little trick of yours? Shuimu's face was full of hatred, and he jumped down from the tree. Hand over the sealed book, and I may be merciful and let you go. He said he would let you go, but the murderous intent in Shuimu's eyes had already spilled out. Obviously he wanted to play cat and mouse to vent his anger before he was discovered. Slightly. This is the treasure of the village, and I won't give it to you, the spy idiot. Naruto, who had been reminded by Fengxu long ago, naturally knew that Mizuki was not a good person. So the anger and surprise faded quickly. After speaking, Fengxu had already prepared the words. He made a face and ran out holding the sealed book. Naruto's words also made Mizuki laugh angrily, with cold murderous intent filling his entire face. Haha, you are a useless little beast that no one wants. Today I will show you the real ninja skills. After saying that, Mizuki raised his hand and threw the large four-cornered shuriken behind his back. Terrifying whistling and cutting sounds came from behind Naruto in an instant. And Naruto, as if he had expected it, easily dodged it by turning sideways. At the same time, in Naruto's conscious world, Fengxu looked at Mizuki behind him with a fierce look on his face. Naruto, let me come out, you are no match for him. Obviously, according to the current development of the plot, it will be difficult for Naruto to lose control of his emotions and go berserk. But Fengxu didn't want to miss this good opportunity to come out and breathe. No need, I'm used to being chased by others, he can't catch me. Naruto's trust and dependence on Fengxu has reached 33%. But this 33% is not the real 33%, and it may fall back if there is a slight disturbance. In addition, Naruto is still afraid that Fengxu will use his body to kill people. Therefore, if he could not give his body to Fengxu, he would try not to give it to Fengxu. Besides, we are both the same. If I can't beat you, you can't beat me either. After I get rid of him and learn the multi-layered shadow clone, I will return this thing. When Naruto spoke, Mizuki had already caught up with him from behind. He was a Chunin after all, and it would not be difficult to catch up with Naruto. Beast Fox Demon, I want your left hand with this blow. Mizuki had a fierce look on his face, and the kunai in his hand pierced Naruto's left hand like lightning. Seeing Kunao attacking him, Naruto's steps suddenly stopped. He stretched out his arms to hug the tree trunk and stopped steadily. As for Mizuki, it was because of the force on his hands. The pace under his feet failed to stop, and he jumped far away. Because of this operation, Naruto knew who was in danger throughout the entire process and was mentally prepared. So he was not as overwhelmed and frightened as in the original plot. Therefore, he also showed off his ability to walk Irika and others after causing trouble. Ha ha ha, what a big idiot, what a big stupid ass. Usually it takes a bunch of Chunin chasing him to catch him. There is only Mizuki now, and it is simply wishful thinking to catch him? Damn fox demon, disgusting fox demon. Seeing that Naruto still dared to stop and taunt him, Mizuki was about to explode with anger. Fox demon. Teacher Mizuki, are you afraid that you are going crazy? You can't catch me and start talking nonsense. Naruto said and made a face again, turned around and ran back. Luan Luo, keep eating my farts. But this time, Mizuki didn't get angry. Instead, he put on a playful smile and looked at Naruto who was walking away. He. Naruto, I suddenly forgot that you don't know about this yet. Do you know why I call you a disgusting fox demon, and why the people in the village hate you? Mizuki's words stopped Naruto's steps. A huge uneasiness and fear struck his heart. It seemed as if the next words might pierce his life. Blackening value +2. Blackening value +2. Oh, are we going to start? Fengxu in the consciousness space also had a satisfied smile. With a cold smile on Mizuki's face, he walked slowly like a lion majesty. That's because, you are the fox demon from 12 years ago. You, what did you say? Naruto instantly froze on the spot. Then the little body trembled like chaff. Endless confusion and uneasiness enveloped him. Blackening value +20. Blackening value +30. I am the Nine-Tails Demon Fox. Naruto collapsed backwards and sat on the ground with his eyes blank. He had also heard about the Nine-Tails Rebellion 12 years ago. It was said that a fox demon destroyed the village and killed many people. He now finally understood the way everyone looked at him at that time. No, impossible. I'm not a kitsune. I'm Naruto Uzumaki. Mizuki, who was already running, had a look of joy on his face. He didn't let go of his blow to Naruto. If you weren't the demon fox who destroyed the village, why would everyone hate you? If you weren't the demon fox who destroyed the village, why did no one ever tell you about your parents? Please touch your cheek. You can't feel the 6-stroke beard, right? Blackening value +40. Mizuki had already rushed in front of Naruto. One hand grabbed Naruto's neck and lifted him up. The other hand easily took the sealed book in his arms. Disgusting demon fox, the village raised you, the third Hokage raised you, just to use you as a weapon. Even Irika, who was kind to you, his parents died tragically at your hands. Think about it, when he treats you well on the surface, what is he thinking in his heart? You should be thinking, disgusting fox demon, if it hadn't been for Hokage-sama's order, I would have eaten your flesh alive, and why doesn't this damn fox demon just die, or something like that. Blackening value +50. No, that's not the case, I'm not a fox demon. Looking at Naruto's collapsed expression with no will to survive, Mizuki's face was filled with the joy of revenge. Wake up, everyone wants you to die, so. Mizuki carried the scroll behind his back, and a kunao appeared in his right hand. You have fulfilled everyone's wish, go to hell. The kunao fell heavily and pointed directly at Naruto's eyebrows. Current blackening value 3920. System, switch personalities. The main character's emotions completely lost control and collapsed, and the personality switch was successful. A small hand grasped Mizuki's arm like an iron vice. Oh, who do you want to let die? Chapter 8 Hehe, you lose? Inside the Sarutobi mansion, Sarutobi Hiruzen held a cigarette in his mouth and looked gloomy. It seems that this idiot Mizuki has really had enough of life, and he dares to sow discord between Naruto and me. I originally planned to kill him to end the problem. I hope he can stay in Ibuxi's hands for a while longer. To be honest, Sarutobi Hiruzen now regrets letting Mizuki test Naruto. He should find an umbu, disguised as an enemy, to do this. But regretting now won't help. He can only mend the relationship later. Fortunately, under his operation, Naruto was a child hated by everyone. As Naruto's only light, it should be fine with a little fooling around. Now let's see if Naruto loses control, and if he loses control, can he master that power? Don't let me down, Naruto. The other side. Naruto, oh no, it should be Fengxu. There was a chilling murderous intent in his eyes. It even caused the surrounding temperature to drop to 0. Naruto was not the only one affected by what Mizuki said just now. The kind of collapse, fear, uneasiness, confusion, and self-blame were all experienced by Fengxu. Even the dark and painful memories of the past hit my mind like a tidal wave. If this were not the case, the blackening value would not have skyrocketed by more than 3,200 in just a few minutes. I didn't expect you to still have the strength to resist, you're quite powerful. Although Mizuki's right hand was tightly held, there was no way it could fall down. But there was no panic in his eyes. Just a quasi-genin child. It is estimated that this is just a flashback before death, and it will not last long. As for breaking through the seal and becoming a demon fox, don't be ridiculous, if the seal could be broken through from the inside, it would have been broken long ago. He has to be allowed to break the container outside before the demon fox can break through the seal. Once the demon fox comes out, no one will care if he escapes. Breathe, is this the smell of the real world? I really miss it. After taking a deep breath of oxygen that smells like trees, Fengxu looked at Mizuki in front of him again. There was a shocking murderous intent in his eyes. The palm that pinched Mizuki's arm began to tighten and exert force. You were smiling quite happily just now. At the same time as he spoke, news from the system also came. Exchange Chinin Taijutsu, Iruka-50. Exchange Chinin Taijutsu, Water and Wood, -60. Redeem Elite Jonin Taijutsu, Sarutobi Hiruzen, -800. The exchanged Taijutsu comes with physical fitness. The third generation is old, so it is not enough for the shadow level. Current blackening value, 3010. Originally, Fengxu planned to exchange it directly for one-tail chakra mode. But when things came to a close, I gave up this option. He didn't know what the third generation was thinking, and he didn't intend to run out of Konoha to face the covetousness of the Akatsuki organization and other villages. So he was prepared to hold back for the time being and follow the timeline of the original plot. When we get to the country of waves, we can use that rampage to exchange for the power of 9 tails. Now, according to the original plan, I will exchange the universal oil of physical skills first. How come? Feeling the huge force and pain coming from his arm, Mizuki's expression was finally no longer relaxed. He looked at Naruto, who was completely different from before, with a distorted expression on his face. Are you a demon? Before the word fox came out, there was a click. Ah! The screams of pain echoed through the night sky. Mizuki's arm was directly pinched off by Fengxu after the physical exchange surgery, showing an irregular 90-degree droop. One arm was crippled, and Mizuki quickly reacted. The other hand that was holding Fengxu's neck suddenly withdrew its strength and wanted to break Fengxu's neck. Disgusting demon fox, die. Click. There was another crack of bones breaking. Shuimu's arm that originally pinched Fengxu's neck flew into the sky. Fengxu, on the other hand, landed with a bloodthirsty smile. In his hand was a kunai that was dripping blood. Blackening value +2. Blackening value +3. This time it should be the pleasure of revenge again, right? Thinking in his mind, Fengxu walked towards Shuimu with a bright smile. Teacher Mizuki, you are really weak. You can't arouse any interest in me. Elite Jonin level Taijutsu versus Education Shinin. That was really overwhelming strength. Mizuki, who retreated and fell to the ground, also felt this. Not only did he feel the changes in strength before and after, he also felt the changes in people. Although Naruto was hateful at first, he was just annoying. There is still childlike innocence and kindness in his eyes. But Fengxu, who was unleashing violent murderous intent and resentment in front of him, was as terrifying as an evil ghost from hell. Shuimu also thought of something. His face was filled with fear, and his eyes were full of despair and regret. You are not Naruto, you are a fox demon. You broke the seal. Ha ha ha, fox demon. Fengxu laughed heartily, the amusement on his face unmistakable. The fox demon will not talk to you so much, nor will he want to play games with you. Play games. Mizuki's originally gloomy eyes gave birth to hope. Sure enough, he is not a fox demon, just a child who lacks love. I can play with you, whatever you want. As long as you are willing to let me go. Fengxu did not answer this question, but tapped the tree trunk next to him with the kunai in his hand. There was an innocent and cheerful smile like a child on his face. Let's play ghost hunting. If I count to 100 and don't catch you, you win. The bet is your life. The sweet childlike words are full of malice. Mizuki couldn't care less about being afraid. The desire for life made him ignore the pain of his broken hand, quickly get up and run into the distance. 100, 99, 98. The sound of Fengxu's voice made Shuimu step faster, but the next second, a strong wind sounded behind him. Pull. The kunai scratched the skin on his back, and a burning pain instantly swept through his body. 75, 74, 73. The sound that continued sounded made Mizuki's screams come to an abrupt end. He gritted his teeth and tried his best to escape forward. Pull. There was another strong wind that cut through the air. Mizuki's right leg was completely broken, and he screamed and fell to the ground. 40, 39, 38. The urging sound is like the ringing of a Shinigami bell. Mizuki didn't dare to stop, sobbed and groaned and crawled out with his left leg. Pull. This time, the only remaining left leg was completely broken. 20, 19, 18. Mizuki shivered, trembled, and dragged his chin on the ground. There are only 20 left. I'm not dead yet. I want to live. As he listened to the fewer and fewer numbers, his eyes looked forward, full of desire for life. 3, 2. The sound in his ears made Mizuki smile unconsciously. He is going to win, he is going to escape. However, the last one didn't come, and all that came was a kunai that pierced the chest from behind. Hehe, Teacher Mizuki, you lose. Chapter 9 Iruka is out. I didn't lose, I'm still alive. Shuimu held on and finished speaking this sentence and then breathed his last. The eyes that look into the distance still retained the desire for life. Blackening value +100. Current blackening value, 3,300. Revenge against Mizuki allowed Fengxu to earn another 290 blackening points. But there are pros and cons. In this moment's consciousness, Naruto also recovered. He also felt relieved about Mizuki's death. But the good side of his heart quickly overwhelmed this feeling. Fengxu, you killed someone. You killed Mr. Mizuki. You clearly promised me that you would not use my body to kill people. Naruto was extremely excited and scared at the moment. I was excited because the strength Fengxu used was so strong that even teacher Chenin was no match for him. Does it mean that he actually has this strength, but he just didn't show it? The fear was because when Fengxu killed Shuima just now, it was a bit scary and frightening. He didn't want Fengxu to turn into a perverted murderer and lose this friend. He even wanted Fengxu to be friendly and gentle to everyone like him. Host personality relies on trust value, 20%. Fengxu had already anticipated the decline in trust and dependence. But I didn't expect that the decrease was not much, it was still 20%. It seemed that he already had a good place in Naruto's heart. I didn't kill people indiscriminately. Even if I didn't do anything to the traitor Mizuki, he would be dealt with by the village afterwards. After a casual explanation, Fengxu reached out and took down the sealed book from Shuima's back. And Naruto reluctantly accepted this explanation. Forget it, for the sake of saving us, I will forgive you this time. Forgive me? Fengxu's smile faltered, and his brows wrinkled slightly. But he didn't say much, since he himself didn't have any good intentions towards Naruto anyway. Naruto didn't notice anything wrong with Fengxu's emotions. On the contrary, after seeing the sealed book in Fengxu's hand, he suddenly remembered that he had not finished learning ninjutsu. Immediately shouted, Fengxu, give your body back to me. There was no room for Fengxu to refuse to resist. A huge suction force suddenly appeared, dragging his consciousness down. The next second, their identities were exchanged. Naruto reappeared outside and took control of the body. Fengxu, on the other hand, returned to the void consciousness space. Wow, how amazing. I just shouted, and he came right out. This was also the first time that Naruto took the initiative to switch personalities, and his face was full of excitement. But he immediately thought of Fengxu, who was forced to hand over his body. He quickly apologized non-stop. I'm sorry, Fengxu. I will let you out for some fresh air when you get home. Now I have to hurry up and learn the art of multiple shadow clone, and then return this thing. Thinking that you can take back control of your body at any time, Naruto was not afraid to hand over his body temporarily. Host personality relies on trust value, 30. Okay, I will remember what you said. If you can come out to breathe frequently, you will naturally not refuse if you are Fengxu. Besides, if he could come out often, he might be able to make some arrangements. He didn't intend to be a sub-personality for a long time and be locked in that small space of consciousness. Successfully mastered ninjutsu, multiple shadow clone techniques. Just when Fengxu was thinking about the next arrangement, Naruto outside also successfully learned multiple shadow clone techniques. After you have learned it, you naturally want to give it a try. After several seals, Naruto's all over the mountains and plains occupied this forest land. What an awesome ninjutsu. I feel like I can beat 2 Mizuki teachers now. Looking at his masterpiece, Naruto couldn't help but pull Mizuki out as a unit of measurement. Just when Naruto was complacent and thinking about how to show off tomorrow, Iruka's surprised voice sounded from the tree branch behind. Naruto, there are so many Narutos. Is this the art of multiple shadow clone? Ah, it's Iruka-sensei. Naruto turned their heads together and saw Iruka with a surprised face. Grandpa 3rd generation sent you here, but I have already learned a ninjutsu. I'll give this back to you. You can take it to Grandpa 3rd generation. After throwing the sealed book to Iruka, Naruto's true body immediately fled, leaving behind a number of clones blocking the way. As he walked, he shouted, there is also teacher Mizuki. He has rebelled and wants to kill me and steal my things. But I am stronger and I killed him back. Teacher, please remember to explain it to Grandpa 3rd generation. Hearing Naruto's shouting, Iruka's pupils shrank. He even forgot to stop the escaping Naruto immediately. Shuimyu rebelled and wanted to kill you, but he was killed instead. Naruto, wait a minute. If such a big thing happens, explain it to me. Iruka reacted and immediately wanted to chase Naruto, but they were stopped by Naruto's clones. At the same time, a path was opened, revealing Mizuki's body lying on the ground. It's really Mizuki. He was killed by Naruto, who had repeated the grade for 2 years. Iruka, who stepped forward to check, was stunned. He was a little frightened by the miserable death of Mizuki. Naruto looked at the people around him with fear and uneasiness in their eyes. It's like watching some kind of monster, or rather watching 9 Tails from 12 years ago. After Naruto saw Iruka's eyes, their expressions darkened. Sure enough, as Mizuki said before, Iruka was equally afraid and disgusted with him in his heart. Naruto's expressions also made Iruka realize that something was wrong with him. He quickly suppressed the emotion and wanted to say something, but bang 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 sounds sounded one after another. Naruto, who ran away, released the shadow clone here. No, I have to find Naruto to explain. Thinking of the task given to him by the 3rd generation to take care of Naruto, Iruka plucked up the courage and prepared to chase Naruto. But before he could lift his feet, Umbu emerged from the shadows wearing a mask. There's no need to go. The mission given to you by Master Hokage has failed. Return the sealed book, and Master Hokage will tell you whether to continue the mission. The way Iruka looked at Naruto just now, and the distant look Naruto gave back. This means that Iruka has failed in his mission of taking care of Naruto, and it is not suitable for him to forcefully stick to him again. I was just scared. I didn't mean to do it. Iruka still wanted to explain, but this Umbu was too lazy to listen. He grabbed Mizuki's body and disappeared. Naruto. Iruka looked towards the direction where Naruto disappeared. After hesitating for a while, he sighed deeply, turned around and ran in the other direction. In the end, he did not choose to go to Naruto to explain or offer comfort. The miserable death of Shuima, who was cut into a human pig, kept appearing in his mind. The sympathy for Naruto's life experience as an orphan was eventually annihilated in the emotion of fear. Iruka knew very well that for Naruto, he could no longer be the same as before. Chapter 10 Sarutobi Hiruzen's Suspicion. Sarutobi Mansion. Sarutobi Hiruzen comforted Iruka and then sent him away. There was no mention of the task of taking care of Naruto. After returning the sealed book to the storage room, Sarutobi Hiruzen stood in the corridor with his hands behind his hands and said to the darkness, "Tell me everything about tonight and Naruto's changes. Although the telescope can see clearly, but after all, we are not at the scene, so some details will be ignored, and the dialogue will not be heard clearly if the sound is lowered." So Umbu, who watched the whole thing, was needed to recreate what happened before. Yes. A masked figure suddenly emerged from the darkness. Kneel down on one knee respectfully, and then start to talk about everything you experienced that night. The front was very different from what Sarutobi Hiruzen saw, but from the moment Naruto was choked by Mizuki, what he heard made Sarutobi Hiruzen frown. What he saw from a bird's eye view was that Naruto exploded with considerable strength and attacked Mizuki secretly. Then he tortured and retaliated against Mizuki, who talked nonsense. However, Naruto's voice was too soft and he didn't hear it clearly. He only heard Mizuki's wailing. But what Umbu described to him was that Naruto seemed to be a different person after being choked. Mizuki was not attacked by a sneak attack, but was crushed head-on by Naruto using ruthless means. Behind it is a cat playing with its prey like a mouse. He gave Mizuki hope, and then dashed it with his own hands. This method is completely unlike that of an innocent boy who is still in school. Of course, this is not the most important thing. The most important thing is the 2 words Naruto said before he was choked and fought back. "Is this what the real world smells like? I really miss it." These 2 sentences contain a lot of information, but they are enough to show that it was not Naruto himself at that time. So what else is in Naruto's body? The answer is readily apparent: 9 tails. Otherwise it can't be Minato and Kushina, right? Thinking of this, the gloomy Sarutobi Hiruzen asked, "Were you aware of the 9 tails chakra?" This Umbu thought for a moment and then said firmly, "No. Naruto only used taijutsu at the time, and we did not detect any chakra fluctuations. Isn't there 9 tails chakra?" Sarutobi Hiruzen's frown deepened. But after understanding the situation, there is no need for Umbu to wait here anymore. Then he waved to him, "I understand, you go down first." "Yes." Umbu lowered his head and responded before disappearing. Chakra without 9 tails. Could it be that 9 tails consciousness slipped out of the seal, but chakra couldn't break through? Regarding Naruto's situation, Sarutobi Hiruzen was really confused. However, there is no chakra from 9 tails, which is generally a good thing. At least you don't have to worry about 9 tails breaking the seal and getting out of control. It also shows that the seal is still very secure and there is no need to worry. And Naruto, the Jinchuriki, can be released and used with peace of mind. Speaking of Naruto, Sarutobi Hiruzen suddenly remembered something. He turned around and walked back to the papers in the room. The detective took out a thin envelope from the drawer under the document. "I still don't know if Mizuki's words had any impact on Naruto. It's really an advantage for him to die so easily. And Iruka, it's really mud that can't support the wall, and I can't even handle a small task. Now I have to wipe my ass myself." While whispering softly, Sarutobi Hiruzen put on his coat. But before leaving, he hesitated while holding the thin envelope. After a while, he returned to the desk, took out a small wad of $100 bills from the drawer and stuffed it into the envelope. There are almost 10 in this small pile, plus the 10 in the envelope. Finally, it no longer has that thin feel when pinched. With satisfaction on his face, Hiruzen Sarutobi picked up the Hokage hat and walked out of the door. Dong dong dong. Not long after returning home, Naruto, who was still in excitement, heard a knock on the door outside. Is there someone knocking on the door? Is today the day to collect living expenses again? Normally, except when Sarutobi Hiruzen sent someone to deliver living expenses, Naruto's door never rang. Calculating, the time should be less than half a month, right? Muttering, Naruto trotted over and opened the door. Then he saw Sarutobi Hiruzen with a kind smile. Grandpa 3rd generation. Naruto looked surprised. This is the person who treats him best in the village? He is also the person closest to him, just like his biological grandfather? Naruto, I'm here to see you. Sarutobi Hiruzen spoke softly and looked at Naruto as if he were his own grandson. Won't you invite me in? No, come in quickly. Naruto quickly got out of the way. He was so happy that Grandpa 3rd generation could come visit him. It seems that his prank of stealing things tonight has successfully attracted attention. Thinking of this, Naruto also recalled Mizuki's words before. The surprise on his face suddenly stopped, and the look he looked at Sarutobi Hiruzen was a little more complicated. Damn Mizuki, it was a real advantage for him to die so easily? Seeing the change in Naruto's expression, Sarutobi Hiruzen couldn't help but cursed Mizuki in his heart again. But the expression on his face was not affected, instead there was some worry and concern. Naruto, Grandpa has heard about what happened last night, are you not injured? If you are injured, just tell Grandpa, and Grandpa will cure you even if he loses everything. Sarutobi Hiruzen's words matched his expression, and he really looked like a grandfather who was worried about his grandson's safety. It also made Naruto's little face full of emotion and happiness. It's so hypocritical and disgusting. Fengxu, who was watching in his mind, felt a little nauseous. But he was not prepared to interrupt or tell Naruto the true face of Sarutobi Hiruzen. Grandpa third generation, I'm fine, I'm not hurt at all. Naruto shook his body and made a I am strong gesture. It's okay. Sarutobi Hiruzen gently touched Naruto's head. Then the expression on his face darkened, and there was an apology in his eyes. Naruto, you have suffered so much these years. You are a big boy now, and there are some things you should know. In order to prevent Naruto from having a grudge, Sarutobi Hiruzen came here specifically to explain today. However, judging from Naruto's current performance, there is no complaint or resentment towards him and the village. It seems that he was very effective in brainwashing and attacking Naruto in the past. It's far more perfect than what Danzo said about being controlled by the curse seal. Grandpa third generation, I don't believe what Mr. Mizuki says at all. In fact, you don't have to. When things came to a close, Naruto was a little scared and worried. He was afraid that after this incident was exposed, third generation would change and no longer treat him well. Even if this good thing for him is just a pretense, he is not willing to lose it. Naruto's performance made the smile on Sarutobi Hiruzen's face grow wider. But now that the words have been spoken, he is not ready to take them back. So he said every word with a solemn look on his face. Naruto, you are not the Nine-Tails Demon Fox, you are a living person and a ninja of Konoha Village. Chapter 11 Exposure, One-Tail Chakra Mode. I'm not the Nine-Tails Demon Fox. Naruto froze on the spot, looking at the third generation in disbelief. But everyone hates me, and no one has told me about my parents or the beard on my face. Mizuki's previous words were deeply imprinted on Naruto's heart. It also made him basically admit the fact that he was a demon fox. That's because they have no idea what happened, including Mizuki. Sarutobi Hiruzen touched Naruto's head again. 12 years ago, Nine Tails was sealed into your body by the fourth Hokage at the cost of his life. So you are not the Nine Tails Demon Fox. I'm not a demon fox, I'm not a demon fox. Tears like a fountain fell from the corners of Naruto's eyes. This is not sadness, this is tears of joy. Mizuki's words put Naruto under too much pressure. Now that I know that I am not a demon fox, I naturally cannot control my emotions. Seeing Naruto crying so hard, Sarutobi Hiruzen shook his head in amusement. It wasn't until Naruto's crying subsided that he continued. Naruto, in fact, all the pain you have experienced over the years is a trial. A trial that will allow you to master the power of the Nine-Tails Demon Fox. A trial to master the power of the Nine-Tails Demon Fox. Naruto asked while sobbing. Why me and not someone else? Sarutobi Hiruzen looked like he knew you were going to ask this question, Kaido. Because you have this qualification, because we believe in you. Fourth Hokage, and I believe that you can master the power of the Nine-Tails Demon Fox so that it will no longer harm innocent people. And use this power to protect the village and everyone. Just like the fourth Hokage. Naruto's body trembled when he heard Sarutobi Hiruzen's words. Then he stopped sobbing and looked up with hope in his eyes. Same as the fourth Hokage, does it mean that after I master the power of the Nine-Tails Demon Fox, I can become a Hokage? Sarutobi Hiruzen's smile faltered upon hearing this, but he quickly returned to normal. Naruto, no one can be sure of the future. But Grandpa is sure that as long as you can use the power of Nine Tails to protect the village, there is a high probability that you can become a Hokage. The high probability is just a probability, and if it is a probability, it is possible to fail. It's just that at Naruto's age, he couldn't have imagined this. On the contrary, because of Sarutobi Hiruzen's words, his sadness turned into joy, and he was extremely excited. I will be a Hokage in the future, ha ha ha. Seeing that Naruto was successfully fooled, he was still there enjoying himself. Sarutobi Hiruzen's hanging heart finally fell to the ground. But he didn't come here just to fool Naruto. He also wanted to figure out what the consciousness that occupied Naruto's body and fought Mizuki was. Okay Naruto, I've explained the Nine Tails thing to you, now it's your turn to explain it to me. Tell me, what is that thing that helped you kill Mizuki? Sarutobi Hiruzen's tone was undeniable. At the same time, his eyes were fixed on Naruto, not intending to miss any expression. Help me kill Mizuki's thing. Naruto exclaimed, his face full of panic at having discovered his little secret. Seeing Naruto's appearance, Sarutobi Hiruzen's heart sank. It seems that just as he thought, Nine Tails' consciousness escaped. With Nine Tails' combat experience, it can be explained by using Naruto's body to crush Chunin. Naruto on the other side was frantically making a series of fatal calls to Fengxu in his heart. Fengxu, what should I do now? Tell Grandpa third generation of your existence. Will we be regarded as monsters? We won't be sent to be dissected and sliced for study, right? Seeing Naruto's concern that he was not done playing, Fengxu interrupted him directly. It's okay. You can't hide this kind of thing anyway. Fengxu dared to say it openly, so naturally he had no intention of hiding it. After all, he will come out to control the body many times in the future. It would be too troublesome if I had to come up with an excuse every time. Besides, it's just multiple personalities, and Naruto is still the leader, it's not a big deal at all. As long as he shows enough value, it's not too late for Sarutobi Hiruzen to be happy. As for sending in anatomy for research, stop being ridiculous. Are you going to pay for ruining Jinchuriki's research? Just tell him our situation openly and there will be no problem. As soon as Fengxu finished speaking, he remembered what Hiruzen Sarutobi had just mentioned about mastering the power of Nine Tails. Then he added, by the way, remember to tell him that I can control a small part of Nine Tails' power. With that said, Fengxu used the blackening value to exchange for one tail chakra mode. Redeem successful. Blackening value 2000. Current blackening value, 1400. The emotional fluctuation caused by the conversation between Naruto and Sarutobi Hiruzen just now earned 100 blackening points. So 3300 plus 100-2000 leaves 1400. With your words, I feel relieved. After receiving Fengxu's instructions, Naruto breathed a sigh of relief. Then he turned to Sarutobi Hiruzen and explained. After hearing Naruto's explanation, Sarutobi Hiruzen was stunned. Another you was born because of painful memories. It's very strong, and it has mastered a small part of Nine Tails' abilities, but it can't control its body. Sarutobi Hiruzen opened his mouth wider as he spoke. At the end of the sentence, the whole mouth opened directly into an O shape, and it looked like it could swallow a whole fist. After being surprised, Hiruzen Sarutobi asked again with a serious expression. Naruto, can you really take control of your body? Naruto nodded solemnly, yes. When he was outside before, I just thought about it and regained control of my body. This is too. Sarutobi Hiruzen was too good for a long time but nothing happened. But the excited expression on his face showed that he was in a good mood. Can Grandpa see him? By the way, let me show you the power of Nine Tails. Grandpa can also help you analyze whether there is any risk of losing control. Naruto nodded again. Then his whole expression changed. From warm and close to cold. First meeting, Mr. Sarutobi, I am Uzumaki Kazura, Naruto's sub-personality. Fengxu naturally couldn't call Grandpa third generation or Lord Hokage. If it weren't for his current low strength, he wouldn't even want to call Mr. Sarutobi, he just wanted to call him Old Dog. Uzumaki Fengxu, it's a very good name. From now on, just like Naruto, you can call me Grandpa. Sarutobi Hiruzen made a close move, trying to close the distance. Fengxu was too lazy to argue with him, and he didn't need his concern. I didn't take this step and turned on one tail chakra mode directly. This is the power of Nine Tails that I have initially mastered, the kind of complete control. As he spoke, the light red chakra covered Fengxu's entire body. A thick and long reddish tail extends from between the legs. At the same time, a powerful aura of violence and evil filled the entire room. Chapter 12 A Ming's ninja performance is not ideal. The moment Fengxu manifested the Nine Tails chakra, in the 8-sign seal space on the abdomen at the navel, a narrow fox eye suddenly opened in the darkness. This familiar scent is my chakra. Nine Tails Fox's face was full of confusion. It obviously doesn't feel the loss of chakra? Could it be that I am a yin-type person? Because of the seal, Nine Tails cannot accurately feel the properties of chakra. When he was sealed by Minato, he was split into two halves. The yin half of it is here. The yin half entered Shinigami's belly together with Minato's soul. Someone released the yin-type me. Nine Tails narrowed his narrow eyes and carefully sensed the chakra outside. So weak. Isn't the amount of chakra too small? Could it be that he was captured again after being released and is providing people with the same strength as I am now? Nine Tails feels that he must have guessed correctly. Otherwise, there wouldn't be so little chakra, and there would be no majesty of the tailed beast at all. What a waste. He escaped and was caught again. Originally, Nine Tails thought that it, with its yin attribute, could help save him. Now it seems that there is no chance at all, it is better to continue to sleep. Thinking like this, Nine Tails closed his eyes again. It's just that it never dreamed that this chakra is not of yin nature. It is a brand new Nine Tails created by the system. Outside, this palpitating feeling. It's indeed Nine Tails chakra. Okay. The greedy look on Sarutobi Hiruzen's face flashed away. Then everything was replaced by excitement and excitement. Although the power of Nine Tails is powerful, it must be controlled by a life. Reluctantly, I took one last look at the pale red chakra. Sarutobi Hiruzen waved his hand and shouted towards Fengxu. Grandpa, I've seen enough, please put it away quickly. Fengxu looked at Sarutobi Hiruzen with the eyes of a dead man. The latter took back the Nine Tails chakra expressionlessly. At the same time, he also gave back control of his body. In an instant, his expression and breath changed again. Naruto, with a proud expression and an air of familiarity, took control of the body. Grandpa third generation, what I said is right, Fengxu is really powerful. Naruto looked proud. At the same time, system messages also sounded from Fengxu's side. Current personality trust and dependence value, 35%. Seeing Naruto's appearance, Sarutobi Hiruzen reminded him. It is indeed very powerful, but Naruto, you have to work hard. What the secondary personality can do, as the main personality, you can't fall too far behind. You have to keep pace with it. Although Fengxu is now restrained by Naruto and has no initiative. But if the strength of the two is too huge, some variables are likely to occur. Naruto also nodded obediently, I'll do my best. And Fengxu told me that these are the inherent potentials of my body. As long as I work hard, I will soon become as powerful as him. Hearing what Naruto said, Sarutobi Hiruzen felt relieved. Compared to Fengxu, who was not interested in him, Naruto was more controllable. Okay, let's stop here today. Grandpa will be relieved to see that you are okay. After getting the information he wanted, Sarutobi Hiruzen did not intend to stay any longer. He stood up and took out the envelope he had prepared from his pocket. This is 2 months' living expenses. It is a gift from Grandpa to congratulate you on your graduation in advance. Thank you Grandpa, third generation. Naruto smiled happily after taking the envelope, which was obviously thicker than before. Looks like I can enjoy Ichiraku ramen this month. Sarutobi Hiruzen put on his Hokage hat and continued talking while walking outside. According to the rules of the village, if you graduate and become a genin, the village will no longer stop providing you with living expenses. For future living expenses, you will have to do tasks yourself to earn bounties. But don't be afraid. You genin will have a teacher who will lead the team and teach you step by step. Naruto became excited again when he heard that he could do tasks to earn bounties. The ninja life he longed for was finally coming. I understand. I will work hard to complete tasks and earn bounties. As long as you can understand, every village has its own difficulties. After sending away Sarutobi Hiruzen, Naruto eagerly opened the envelope in his hand. Lucky, there are really 2,000 taels. This much money is enough for me to eat 30 bowls of ramen. Naruto drooled at the thought of Ichiraku ramen with Naruto roll. He carefully took out the frog wallet Hinata gave him. After putting all the money in, Naruto relaxed and lay down on the bed. At the same time, I also remembered what Fengxu said before about how to make money. Immediately he asked in his heart, Fengxu, what is the method of making money you mentioned before? After hearing Naruto mention it, Fengxu also remembered this matter. In the ninja world, money is still very important. Fengxu also needs some money for emergencies. And he has some plans that also require financial support. After pondering for a moment, Fengxu spoke. Get me some paper and pen, and then give me control of your body. I want to make money by writing novels. As a time traveler, of course it is easy to make money by being a copycat. Moreover, Fengxu was a copywriter before he time traveled, and even time traveling happened when he died suddenly while writing a movie review. Write novels and make money. Can you write novels? Naruto's big eyes were full of disbelief. He hasn't read many books, how could Fengxu write novels? Stop talking nonsense, you will know if it works or not after you try it. Fengxu knew that Jiraiya was in a hot and intimate paradise. This shows that novels are marketable and popular in this world. Moreover, the novel he plans to copy is of the same genre as Making Love in Paradise, so it can be used to gain popularity. Seeing Fengxu being so confident, Naruto immediately found paper and pen. He wanted to see what kind of story Fengxu could write. He was also ready to laugh at Fengxu loudly. After taking over control of his body, Fengxu recalled the plot in his mind and wrote the title of the novel. Young Aubin, Cross Out, Young Aiming. Chapter 1, Landlady. Ming's performance in the ninja school was not ideal, accompanied by the sound of pencil rubbing against paper. After almost 2 hours, Fengxu had written 10 chapters and 20,000 words. He did not continue writing later, but prepared to make up for it after finishing the manuscript. He stopped writing here, but Naruto, who was seeing the highlights, was not happy. Why don't you write it? Write it quickly. I want to see my cousin captured. I want to see Ming. Even Naruto, the Grand Master of Seduction Technique, was fascinated by it, and Fengxu was very satisfied. We'll wait until the draft is finished tomorrow. After saying a few words, Fengxu took the initiative to give his body back. He planned to ask Naruto to find his daughter Iris tomorrow to help deliver the novel. After all, there were only a few people who were good to Naruto, and he had no choice. If Naruto were to deliver it himself, he probably wouldn't even be able to get through the gate. Chapter 13 Exam, shocking everyone. The next morning, in the classroom of the ninja school, Naruto was lying on the table listlessly with 2 big black circles under his eyes. Because the young man Ming's follow-up was so alluring, he tossed and turned and couldn't sleep well last night. As for tossing and turning, of course it's the kind of tossing and turning where you think of yourself as the protagonist. It even brings the role of a gentle cousin into Sakura. When he thought of this, Naruto's face turned rosy again, and a crazy smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. As the sun rises, more and more students enter the classroom. Among them was Sasuke, who was seated behind Naruto. He passed by Naruto and caught a glimpse of Naruto's stupid look. He curled his lips and sneered disdainfully, idiot. Naruto, who is also an orphan in Konoha, is such an embarrassment to their orphans? When he heard someone scolding him, Naruto turned around and looked at him with an unkind expression. At a glance, he saw Sasuke's cold face behind him. Recall the scene in Young Ming. Naruto asked looking at him steadily. Who are you calling an idiot? Seeing that Naruto didn't hear clearly and asked him, Sasuke continued to sarcastically speak. Idiot is calling you, you idiot. Naruto nodded seriously when he heard this. Yes, the idiot is scolding me. Sasuke's face instantly darkened. When did Naruto, the bastard, become so sharp-tongued? Obviously, he always gets angry at me and makes me lose my temper. A bastard who can only use his words. Idiot who can't speak clearly. Crackling? For a moment, the sights of Naruto and Sasuke seemed to be filled with lightning. Koji, who was watching the whole process, was smiling from ear to ear while eating potato chips. Ha ha ha. Shikamaru, look at Naruto, he is so interesting today. This kind of war between top students and low-ranking students is very common, but often the top students win in the end. But today is different. Naruto, the guy at the bottom of the pile, actually quarreled with Sasuke, the top student, and had nothing to say. When Koji called out to Shikamaru, he held his head and leaned back helplessly. Let's start again. Is Haruno Sakura with a big forehead so beautiful? After shaking his head, he looked at Naruto with inquiring eyes. Besides, it's not certain who is the top student now. Shikamaru heard what happened last night from his father. Being able to kill a Chunin traitor, Naruto is not as weak as he appears. At least he wasn't sure he could kill a Chunin yet. It would be nice to be able to run away when you encounter one. Just when the atmosphere between Mingzuo and Mingzuo was getting tense, Sakura and Ino ran into the classroom from outside. The two women also looked tit for tat, shouting loudly that I entered the classroom before you. Behind them was Hinata, who looked timid. Hinata originally wanted to go up and try to break up the fight between the two girls. But when he saw Naruto confronting Sasuke in front of him, his face suddenly turned red. Without even bothering to break up the fight, he trotted back to his seat. After Sakura and Ino argued for a few words, they also saw Naruto and Sasuke confronting each other. The two women immediately stopped arguing and gathered around them. While praising Sasuke, he scolded Naruto. The result was that Naruto was angry, but Sasuke was even more angry. Coupled with the booing from other people, the classroom suddenly became noisy like a vegetable market. But the noise soon ended, because Iruka walked into the classroom with two unknown teachers. Chunin. Okay, everyone, go back to your seats and start this year's Genin graduation exam immediately. Iruka looked around the entire classroom. When he looked at Naruto, his eyes were full of complexity. But in the end, I skipped it and didn't say anything with as much concern as before. Naruto also cheered up when he heard that the graduation exam was about to take place. It's finally his turn to show off. He has learned A-level ninjutsu that even Mr. Chunin can't do. Sasuke, my grades today will definitely be higher than yours. Naruto couldn't help but turn his head and pretend to compete with Sasuke. But all he got in exchange was Sasuke's words, "Stop wishful thinking, idiot." But Sasuke had just finished speaking his disdainful words. Iruka's words from the front of the classroom slapped him in the face. The first one, Naruto, passed without taking the test because he defeated a Chunin. Come up and get your Genin Forward Protector. Iruka's words immediately set off 1,000 waves, causing the classroom below to explode. Crane Tail actually defeated Mr. Chunin. Quickly pinch me to see if I'm dreaming. It's impossible, it's all fake. Naruto must have bribed the teacher. There is a shady secret? We require Naruto to take a test. Sasuke also turned pale, his eyes filled with disbelief. Seeing that no one believed it, they even said there was a shady story. Naruto was so angry and anxious that he jumped on the table and went around frantically to explain. This behavior made Fengxu, who was in the consciousness space, unable to help but blush. He ordered in a stern voice, "Idiot, explanations are useless, just form a seal and cast multiple shadow clone to show them." Naruto also hit his head as if waking up from a dream. "Oh, yes, I was so anxious to forget it." As he spoke, he quickly formed a seal with his hands in front of him. Multiple shadow clone techniques. Bang! In an instant, the entire classroom was filled with countless Narutos. Even Iruka and the two teachers in front were squeezed into the corner. The other students were surrounded by Naruto from all directions and felt the smell of Naruto. "Naruto, you idiot. Quickly cancel the multiple shadow clone, you have too many." In the corner, Iruka, with blue veins bulging on his forehead, shouted loudly. But he saw that the faces of the two teachers next to him had turned black. Naruto also knew that he was in trouble and quickly removed the shadow clone. However, there was still a smug look on his face as he looked around at the classmates. "Haha, this is an A-level ninjutsu extra shadow clone technique. You don't know how to do it, right? But I will? Ha 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 ha." Naruto's expression was very unsatisfactory, but all the students endured it. No one mentioned the shady story or disbelief. To be honest, with that move just now, both of them would have been beaten to the ground by Naruto. After Naruto pretended to feel better physically and mentally, Fengxu also received a wave of blackening points. Blackening value plus 200. Current blackening value, 1,600. After the farce was over, Naruto took the forward protector and returned to his seat. The graduation exam also started again, allowing other students to return their attention to the exam. Except for Sasuke, who was lowering his head and gritting his teeth. A-level ninjutsu, multiple shadow clone, defeated Chunin. These words were like a sharp knife piercing Sasuke's heart. Plus Naruto would turn around and wink at him from time to time. So much so that his fists placed under the table were clenched and his nails dug deeply into his flesh. Even the expression on his face was more gloomy and gloomy. Even when it was his turn to take the exam, he made many mistakes. If Iruka hadn't noticed that something was wrong with Sasuke, he would have given him a second chance. Maybe Sasuke will have to wait until next year to graduate. Chapter 14, Asking Calamus for Help. I am not afraid that Naruto will live a miserable life, but I am afraid that Naruto will drive a Land Rover. This sentence best describes Sasuke's current state of mind. With the completion of the graduation exam, the entrance to the ninja school became lively again. They were all parents who came to pick up their children and leave. Naruto originally planned to leave directly and not listen to these people cursing him. But Fengxu stopped him. Tell him to use these curses to temper his heart so that he can master the power of 9 tails without losing control. Ever since, in order to master the power of 9 tails, he became the 5th Hokage. Naruto also risked his life and squeezed into the crowd with all his strength. He would go wherever there were people, listen to the parents saying bad things to him, and at the same time, he wanted to stay away from him. Then there was a funny scene in the ninja school. A large group of people were cursing Naruto while being chased around by him. Fengxu also once again raised a large amount of blackening value. Blackening value plus 600. Current blackening value, 2200. After being scolded, it was noon. According to Fengxu's plan, Naruto went home first to get the manuscript. After that, he took the money and went straight to Ichiraku ramen house. Hey Naruto, hello lunch. Are you here for ramen? He was banging the pot with a big spoon in his hand, with a very contagious laugh on his face. Naruto, who was infected by the hand-slapping smile, also brushed off the discomfort of being scolded and laughed. Kaido, yes, I want a handmade uncle's luxurious signature ramen. Hearing that Naruto wanted the luxurious signature ramen, Eris behind him opened his eyes wide. You actually want 100 taels of luxury ramen. Naruto, did you go out to pick up money today? Naruto smiled and touched the back of his head, his face full of pride. I got first place in the graduation exam today and finally became an official ninja. Hearing this, both Shandai and Changpyo were full of surprise. After that, I was sincerely happy for Naruto. Congratulations, I finally graduated after repeating 2.5 years. I bought you this bowl of ramen today, as a graduation gift for you. Naruto automatically ignored the previous 2.5 years of repeating the grade, and accepted the offer of hand beating with a smile. Thank you, Mr. Tejada, but I just need to replace all the other ingredients of the ramen with Naruto rolls. As a fan of Naruto rolls, Naruto wished that there were no noodles in the ramen and it was all Naruto rolls. Don't forget to ask Calamus to help. Fengxu's voice suddenly sounded in Naruto's mind. Naruto's happy expression also froze, and he looked at Iris nervously. To be honest, he was really embarrassed to show this book written by Fengxu to Chengpyu. Seeing Naruto staring at her, Icarus touched his cheek with a questioning look. Is there something on my face? Naruto, what do you want to tell me? Saying that, Iris put the prepared ramen in front of Naruto. Smelling the aroma of the ramen in front of him, Naruto took a sip of saliva. In order to have money to eat every day, he finally made up his mind and handed the manuscript of the novel to Chengpyu. This is a novel I wrote, and I want Sister Changpyo to help me deliver it. Novel. Calamus reached out and took the manuscript. There was also a hand behind her, who also curiously looked at the manuscript in Icarus' hand. Young Aiming, is this a story you wrote based on yourself, Naruto? Icarus had a narrow smile on his face. No, it just happens that the names are the same. Naruto waved his hands repeatedly. But remembering what was written inside, Naruto looked at the two of them with pleading expressions on their faces. Can you please stop reading the contents, at least not for now? Seeing Naruto's troubled expression, Handa laughed and said, Okay, uncle, I won't watch. It's better to eat the noodles quickly. The noodles will become lumpy and won't taste good. Calamus pretended not to hear and hid in the kitchen. Naruto's expression made her so curious, she had to take a look first. Sister Calamus. Looking in the direction of the kitchen, Naruto seemed to have seen the laughter coming later. So he turned his grief and anger into appetite and sucked up the ramen in front of him fiercely. Slow down, you kid, what if you choke? Naruto was startled as he ate like a starved ghost reincarnated. He quickly filled a bowl of tonkotsu soup and handed it over, fearing that Naruto would choke. 10 minutes later, a large bowl of ramen was completely wiped out, including the soup and noodles. And Chengpyu, who had escaped into the kitchen, came out with a blush on his face. The content of 20,000 words and 10 chapters can be read in about 10 minutes. How about Iris? Can Naruto's writing be accepted by the publishing house? He didn't notice anything was wrong with his daughter. The blush was just due to the heat from these noodle cooking stoves. Well, it's not bad, it's pretty. Calamus glanced at Naruto with a shy expression, her voice getting smaller and smaller as she spoke. I just didn't expect Naruto to be able to write such a novel. No wonder he often sneaks into women's bathhouses and reads pornographic magazines in bookstores. Although the first point of view is that of a male, Iris felt that Naruto's plot was very attractive. He is worthy of being a frequent visitor in the women's bathhouse and a lover of the little emperor's uncle in the bookstore. Sneaking into the women's bathhouse? Reading erotic magazines. Does this have anything to do with the novel Naruto wrote? His face was full of doubts, wondering what the connection was between the two. Icarus wanted to say something more, but was decisively interrupted by Naruto. Sister Calamus, stop talking, let's leave quickly. If the manuscript is overdue, I will have to rush it in the afternoon. Icarus felt that what Naruto said was right, so he didn't say any more. After taking off the white apron and headscarf, he walked out of the store. After you finish writing, remember to show it to my sister for review. I can also help you check if there are any typos. The content of 20,000 words has already captured Chengpyu's heart. And Naruto also got his first book fan to follow up. I know, I promised to show it to Sister Chengpyu first. After receiving Naruto's agreement, Icarus set off towards another street with satisfaction. Shueishaku, Ltd. Naruto didn't wait long when he saw Icarus walking out with a man with a flattering smile. Well, the novel was written by him, a boy you call a monster. What a monster? Don't talk nonsense. I never shouted. The man's flattering smile did not change, and he leaned in front of Naruto. Are you Uzumaki Naruto-sensei who wrote the boy Akira? This is the first time we meet. My name is Hirohiko Kishimoto. It's an honor to serve as your editor. As a veteran editor, Kishimoto feels that this book about the young man Aiming can definitely compete with the popular Intimacy Paradise. So let alone Naruto being called a monster, even if Naruto is a monster, he is not afraid. Hello, Mr. Kishimoto. So my manuscript has passed, right? Kishimoto nodded and bowed in front of Naruto. That's it. Teacher, your work is really great. Let's go in and sign the contract as soon as possible. While respectfully pulling Naruto inside, Kishimoto did not forget to pat the rainbow fart. Teacher, it's such an honor for you to choose our publishing house. I can guarantee, teacher, that your book will be fully promoted by us, and it will definitely become a hit in the future, even surpassing the Intimacy Paradise. Listening to this kind of special compliment, Naruto felt a little carried away. Fengxu also received messages from the system. Host personality trust dependence value, 40%. Chapter 15 Leading teams in different classes. After signing the contract from Shueisha and thanking Iris, Naruto rushed home in a hurry. After laying the pen and paper that had been prepared on the table, Naruto began to call Fengxu in his heart. Fengxu, the manuscript has been passed, and the 20,000 words will be serialized in the magazine first. After the word count reaches 100,000 words, the publisher will print a single book for sale. So let's write the rest of the story quickly. After being praised and promoted by Kishimoto Lohahiko, Naruto now wants to write a 100,000 word book right away. But it's a pity that he couldn't write it and had to rely on Fengxu. I have seen the process, there is no need to repeat it. But the brothers have settled their accounts. We need to talk about the income issue. Talk about profits. Naruto was a little confused. Can't we all use the money we get? Fengxu in the consciousness space sneered and said, I wrote the words and conceived the plot. You only gave your body and you want to share the proceeds equally. When Naruto thought about it, it seemed that this was really the case. Suddenly he said a little discouraged, okay, then how do you divide it? 9 points for me, 9 points for me and 1 point for you. Fengxu said, 10% is enough for you to achieve the freedom of ramen, but you can't use the other 90%. I only have 10%. Naruto lowered his head and cried with a sad face, you don't come out often anyway, why do you need so much money? Fengxu's cold voice continued to sound. You don't have to worry about it. Just say whether you agree or not. Seeing that Fengxu had made up his mind, Naruto could only pinch his nose and say, I agree, you have the final say. Anyway, I just want the freedom of ramen. I don't know how to spend more. Host personality trust dependence value, 38%. Fengxu does not feel distressed even if the false high is reduced by 2%. Before reaching 80%, everything is just a castle in the air, so there is no need to care too much. Give me your body. One afternoon is enough to write the remaining 80,000 words. A base with elite Jonin's physical fitness. Fengxu can write 7 to 8 words in 1 second. Coupled with the time for conception, 1 afternoon is just enough. Oh, Naruto immediately handed over control of his body. Then there was the rustling sound of pencil rubbing against paper. Time soon came to evening. As the last word fell, Fengxu stopped writing and returned the control of his body. After writing all afternoon, to be honest, it really made him feel a little tired. Did you finish it so quickly? I haven't seen enough yet. After regaining control of his body, Naruto looked unsatisfied. Fengxu ignored him, but closed his eyes and rested in his consciousness space. After packing up a thick pile of manuscripts, Naruto went out and walked towards Ichiraku Ramen. He was going to finish his dinner with Ichiraku Ramen. By the way, I will give the manuscript to Chengpiyu for review. After all, this is what was promised at noon. The next day, Naruto woke up naturally from his sleep and came to the Hokage building. After passing the graduation exam, I got a ninja forehead protector. But you still need to take photos and register before you can officially become a genin of Konoha village. The time to register and take photos is only today. Tomorrow is the day when the new generation of genins will gather and divide into classes. Since it was only one day, there were many people taking photos and registering. But it didn't stop Naruto from spending 3 hours painting a big painted face on himself just like in the original plot. It is also known as the art of taking pictures. Naturally, he was scolded by Sarutobi Hiruzen and asked to reshoot. Then Konohamaru appeared and began to pester Naruto. What happens next is very different from the original work. Naruto taught Konohamaru the art of seduction and ninja, and formed a bond. He also used harem techniques to defeat Ebisu, who was wearing small sunglasses. In the evening, Fengxu continued to control his body and write novels. Early in the morning, because he had to be divided into different classes, Naruto got up early and did not sleep until he woke up naturally. After arriving at the ninja school, he went straight to his seat. At this time, many people were already in the classroom. But the most eye-catching one is Sasuke, who looks depressed and has a gloomy face. Especially after seeing Naruto, the gloomy energy was about to overflow. Obviously, Sasuke still couldn't accept the fact that Naruto was better than him. You're a nuisance who only pretends to be cool. Naruto didn't understand Sasuke's expression and thought it was Sasuke pretending to be cold and cool again. Hearing Naruto's muttering, Sasuke's gloomy face turned dark instantly. However, he didn't make any sarcastic remarks as usual, he just put away his expression and turned his head. Seeing that Sasuke didn't mess with him, Naruto didn't tease him anymore. Instead, he was lying on the table thinking about class division. It would be great if I could be placed in the same class as Sakura. Even if I can't be placed in the same class, don't be in the same class as that annoying Shizuke. And now that I am no longer the last person but have become the number one, Sakura will probably start to like me. Just as he was talking, the real owner Sakura arrived. Watching Sakura walking towards him, Naruto put on a silly smile and thought that his dream had come true. Unfortunately, Sakura passed him and went straight to Shizuke, greeting him with greetings. Nasty Shizuke. What's so good about him that Sakura likes? Just as Naruto was about to find fault with Shizuke, he saw Iruka walking in from outside. The noisy classroom also became quiet after Iruka came in. From now on you will be your own ninja. After saying some educational words as usual, Iruka picked up the list in his hand. The class list will be announced next. Team 7, Haruno Sakura, Uzumaki Naruto and Shizuke. Team 8, Hayagahi Nada, Abarame Shino and Inuzuka Kiba. Class 10, Nara Shikamaru, Akimichi Koji, and Yamanaka Ino. Some people were happy, some were sad, and exclamations and wails kept ringing from below, just when Naruto announced the class division. On the other side, the Hokage office was bustling with activity. Dead Fish Eyes is holding a copy of Shounen Ming's Kakashi. Yui Kurane looks stunning in a fishnet outfit. Asuma has a beard and a decadent air. The three of them were standing in front of Sarutobi Hiruzen's desk, looking at the crystal ball on the table. The crystal ball showed a picture of Naruto's classroom. As the classes were divided inside, Sarutobi Hiruzen also opened his mouth and said, "The 7th class is led by Kakashi, the 8th class is led by Yui Kurane, and the 10th class is led by Asuma. Do you have any questions about this allocation?" The three of them looked at each other and shook their heads one after another. However, the three of them had no doubts, but a doubtful voice sounded outside. "They have no doubts, but I do. I don't agree with Kakashi leading Team 7. Chapter 16 Hiruzen, you will regret it." An old and cold voice came from outside the door. Shimura Danzo took his men, Koharu who had transferred to the dormitory, and Mito Monobu, and walked in from the door one after another. "I think the current Jinchuriki are too dangerous to be under Kakashi's custody. Now it should be left to our roots to control it in order to avoid situations that endanger the village." After saying that, he looked at the sleeping Koharu and Mito Monobu next to him. "Advisor Koharu, Advisor Yan, you probably still don't know what has happened to Jinchuriki, right? If I hadn't had someone who could use my roots, I would have been kept in the dark." Listening to Danzo's strange words, Mito Kaden and Koharu looked at Sarutobi Hiruzen inquiringly. Of course the two of them had no idea what had happened to Naruto. They were also invited by Danzo when they came today, saying that there was important matter concerning the village. However, they had heard about Naruto's theft of the sealed book the night before. Thinking of this, he moved to bed and Koharu asked first, "Hiruzen, is this related to the previous theft of the sealed book by Jinchuriki?" Mito Kadoyan also followed up and asked, "Did learning those forbidden skills cause problems with the seal on Jinchuriki?" The questions asked by the two people surprised Kakashi and the other three people waiting on the side. Problems with the Nine-Tails seal are a matter of life and death? If what happened 12 years ago happened again, the current Konoha village might not be able to survive at all. So the three of them all frowned and looked at Sarutobi Hiruzen, hoping to get an explanation. Facing the inquiring gazes of everyone, Sarutobi Hiruzen had a sullen expression and said nothing. Of course, he was not guilty of being exposed, but he felt that Danzo's hand was stretched a little too long now. It was clear that Umbu, who arranged to monitor Naruto, belonged to him, and he had also given an order to keep it secret. But now Danzo clearly knows something. It seems that Umbu, who is directly under him, needs to do some cleaning up. Seeing that Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't speak for a long time, Danzo took over the conversation with a cold snort. "Humph, if he doesn't tell me, then I will. There was a problem with Jinchuriki's seal the night before yesterday. It is suspected that Nine-Tails consciousness took over Jinchuriki's body and tortured and killed a Chunin." Although Danzo's words were not loud, they were like a bell ringing in everyone's hearts. Among them, Koharu and Mito Monobu, who were transferred to the dormitory, had even more frightened faces. "What? Is there really something wrong with the seal? Hiruzen, is Danzo telling the truth? Hiruzen, please say something." Seemingly having a headache due to the quarrel between the two, Sarutobi Hiruzen finally spoke to comfort him. "Koharu still has inflammation, please be patient. What Danzo said is just his speculation. In fact, there is no problem with Naruto's seal." Sarutobi Hiruzen turned to look at Danzo again, his eyes full of warning. "And you Danzo, Naruto is not yours to get involved with, you'd better put your little thoughts away." Danzo heard too much of this kind of harmless threat and sneered and asked, "Don't change the subject, Hiruzen. What we are talking about now is the consciousness of Nine-Tails breaking through the seal. Do you need me to repeat to you what Jinchuriki said before killing Mizuki?" Hearing this, everyone's hearts tightened again. Since Danzo dared to say this, then things were definitely not as fine as Sarutobi Hiruzen said. Seeing that Danzo was determined to die on this point, Sarutobi Hiruzen decided to reveal Fengxu's existence after some thought. "After all, you can hide it for a while, but you can't hide it forever. Anyway, Naruto is kissing him now, and he is not afraid of others taking away this big killer weapon. Maybe he can also use Fengxu, who has mastered the power of Nine-Tails, to consolidate his power." This time, Danzo led two high-level advisors to force him into the palace, but it made him quite unhappy. Although he felt unhappy, Sarutobi Hiruzen still looked calm on the surface. Actually, I have already prepared to explain Naruto's problem at next week's meeting. Since you came here specifically to ask today, I won't wait until next week to tell you directly. The consciousness that occupies Naruto's body is not Nine Tails, but Naruto's subpersonality, named Uzumaki Fengxu. Without giving everyone time to be shocked, Sarutobi Hiruzen dropped another blockbuster. And this subpersonality named Uzumaki Fengxu has also successfully mastered part of Nine Tails' power. I saw with my own eyes that he controlled the chakra using Nine Tails with his clear mind. And this subpersonality is completely under Naruto's control. Quiet. Two bomb-like news were released one after another, which directly stunned everyone present. Even Danzo didn't expect that the truth of the matter would be like this. However, he did not doubt that Sarutobi Hiruzen was lying. If he dared to lie about such a thing, then the Hokage of Sarutobi Hiruzen would be done with it. A subpersonality that has mastered the power of Nine Tails. Still controlled by Jinchuriki. Our Leaf Village has another trump card. The silence was broken by the excited voices of Koharu and Mito Kadobio, who moved to bed. For a village that is currently weak, having a powerful force like Nine Tails at its disposal is like a shot in the arm. Hiruzen, that Jinchuriki subpersonality's methods are extremely cruel, and he doesn't look like a being who is content to be controlled at all. Perhaps those are all illusions he showed, and he is deceiving you. You can't believe it at all. So he should be handed over to our roots immediately for artificial restrictions and corrections. I promise, it won't be long before you get a powerful weapon that will never rebel. Danzo still refused to give up and wanted to get Naruto in his hands. After all, this is the controlled power of Nine Tails. If it works for him, he can become the 5th Hokage next year. Sarutobi Hiruzen glanced at Danzo coldly, as if he had read through Danzo's inner thoughts. As for this personality, I will arrange for people to conduct close observation and testing, so I won't bother you. Seeing that Sarutobi Hiruzen wanted to kick him away, of course Danzo refused. He took a step forward and walked forward, looked directly into Sarutobi Hiruzen's eyes and said, "It's about the safety of Konoha. I can't stand by and watch. I request that the leader of Jinchuriki be replaced by a ninja from my base." Sarutobi Hiruzen also refused to give in, staring firmly at Danzo's one eye. "Danzo, you don't need to interfere, I don't want to repeat it a second time. Also, don't forget, I am the Hokage." Hearing this sentence, "I am the Hokage," Danzo's anger level instantly filled up. This is what he said every time he was pressed, and he couldn't refute it. "Hiruzen, you will regret it." After uttering his customary closing words, Danzo angrily tossed his sleeves and turned to leave. Since he can't do it openly, he will do it secretly. He won't let Nine Tails' power go in vain. Chapter 17 Preliminary Plan. After Danzo left, Koharu and Mito Monobio moved to bed and did not stay any longer. They don't covet the power of Jinchuriki and Nine Tails. I came here just to find out the situation of Jinchuriki. Seeing that everyone was gone, Sarutobi Hiruzen signaled Asuma and Ui Kurane to leave first. And he led Kakashi towards Naruto's apartment. He needed Kakashi to understand Naruto's current situation, and he also needed to explain something to Kakashi. In the classroom on the other side, Iruka, who had finished dividing everyone into classes, put down the list in his hand and said, "The teacher leading the team will be here in the afternoon, please don't be late." "Okay, let's dismiss and go have lunch." When they heard the word disbanded, many people cheered and rushed out of the classroom. Sakura looked at Sasuke with a blush and extended an invitation to eat together. "Sasuke-kun, we will be companions from now on. Let's eat together and get to know each other." Sasuke didn't even look back or reply to Sakura's invitation. He climbed out directly from the window next to the classroom. Naruto on the side leaned forward with a smile on his face. "Sakura, if he doesn't go, I will go with you. We will be companions from now on. We need to get to know each other well." Sakura glanced at Naruto, and the blush and shyness on her face disappeared instantly. "Sorry, I have to go find Sasuke, you should eat alone." After saying that, without waiting for Naruto to answer, he hurried out of the classroom door. "Damn it, it's that annoying guy Sasuke again." Naruto, a little annoyed, also followed to the door. Unfortunately, there were too many people, and Sakura's back could no longer be seen. "Obviously I have surpassed him and become the number one, why doesn't Sakura still like me?" Aside, Inuzuka Kiba saw this scene completely. With Akamaru on his head, he came to Naruto's side with a playful smile. "It's not because Naruto is frizzy and acts like an idiot. But it doesn't matter, I just like playing with idiots, so just come with us to have lunch." Although his relationship with Naruto is not as good as Shikamaru Koji, it is at least much better than others. Coupled with Naruto's sudden rise a few days ago, and his clumsiness. So he decided to get closer to Naruto and maybe do tasks together in the future. Behind Inuzuka Kiba, Hineda's face suddenly turned red when she heard him inviting Naruto. "If there wasn't a table next to me to support my body, I might not even be able to stand firmly." As for Abarameshino, he stroked his sunglasses and muttered something in a low voice that no one could hear clearly, except for Fengxu, who was watching all this in Naruto's consciousness. "Didn't the three of us in the team eat together to get to know each other? But I'm not opposed to inviting Naruto. It's up to you to decide. I also happen to want to make a new friend." He almost kept mumbling these words. Although Fengxu heard clearly, he was not interested in helping the little kid pass the message. Just thinking about Haruno Sakura who had just faced Naruto and Sasuke, he suddenly had a plan. Since Naruto likes Haruno Sakura so much, if Haruno Sakura dies in his hands later, no, Haruno Sakura may not be enough. Maybe Iruka can make contact again, and Sarutobi Hiruzen. Because of his lack of ability to protect him, the people he loved and were close to died tragically in his own hands. In addition, Fengxu gave some hints and promotions with words. Presumably at that moment, the trust and dependence value of the protagonist will reach its peak, right? Of course, these tragic deaths must not be directly related to Fengxu, and at that time, he had to find a way to conflict with Naruto, so that he could not come out to fight for him. It all adds up to all sorts of guilt, regret, and self-hatred, enough to break through all Naruto's defenses. However, it is still just a preliminary idea, and Fengxu needs to carefully consider how to operate it later. Thinking of this, Fengxu's voice sounded in Naruto's mind. Naruto, reject them. I have a way for you to have some intimate interactions with Haruno Sakura. Hearing the words echoing in his mind, Naruto's expression became happy at a speed visible to the naked eye. Seeing Naruto's happy look, Inuzuka Kiba thought Naruto had agreed to the invitation. He stepped forward and grabbed Naruto's shoulders and walked towards the door. Let's go, since Naruto is here, I'll treat you to a barbecue dinner. Even if I spend too much money and go home and get beaten by my mother, I'm not afraid. The Inuzuka family is also considered a prominent family in Konoha. He makes a living by breeding and selling high-quality ninja dogs, so he is quite wealthy. So it was just a barbecue meal. Naruto couldn't afford a month's living expenses, but Inuzuka Kiba could afford it. When he heard that he wanted to eat barbecue, Naruto's happy expression froze again. On one side is a barbecue feast that he has never had since childhood, and on the other side is his favorite Sakura. How should he choose? But when he thought of being in close contact with Sakura, he gritted his teeth and broke away from Inuzuka Kiba's arms. Sorry, I suddenly remembered something else. I'll treat you to ramen next time. After saying that, Naruto rushed out of the classroom as quickly as possible. I was afraid that I would regret it the next second and go have barbecue with them. Outside the second-floor balcony of a building somewhere, Sasuke was eating bread, frowning and thinking about Naruto. After his inquiries yesterday, he easily found out about the sealed book. Last night, he originally wanted to imitate Naruto and steal it to study. It's a pity that Umbu's people kicked him out before he even entered the door of Sarutobi's mansion. When he thought of this, Sasuke couldn't help but squeeze the bread in his hand. Eccentric Konoha, eccentric Hokage? The powerful ninjutsu would rather give a crane tail than give it to me? Is it just because I'm Uchiha, that bastard's younger brother? Sasuke, who was thinking about something, didn't realize that behind him, Naruto was holding the rope with a smirk. The next second, you annoying guy, just be patient and don't move. Naruto, it must be you? What are you going to do? You made a mistake, I am Shikamaru, not Naruto. Asshole, don't try to lie to me. I saw your orange clothes. You are wrong. Let me let you sleep for a while first. The sound disappeared, and Sasuke jumped out of the window with an evil smile. Dear Sakura, I'm coming. Afternoon, ninja classroom. Sasuke walked into the classroom, holding his still somewhat groggy head. This time, Sakura surprisingly did not come around, but sat on her seat with an angry face. Naruto on the side was carrying a big mountain-like bag on his head, with a silly smile on his face. Although it was strange, Sasuke ignored Sakura. Instead, he walked straight to Naruto. Naruto, you won today. But it will take a long time, I will catch up with you and avenge your shame. After saying that, without waiting for Naruto to reply, he turned around and found a seat to sit down. Well, Sasuke's sudden words interrupted Naruto's giggle. But at noon, he transformed into Sasuke and kissed Sakura. So Naruto is in a good mood now and is ready to apologize for knocking out Sasuke. Just as he was about to speak, he saw a man walking in outside the classroom, dressed like Shino. Class 7, all follow me. Chapter 18 The Replaced Kakashi. Why is it that the man who came in is dressed somewhat similar to Shino? Naturally, both of them were wearing clothes for their age, which covered most of their skin. The slight difference is that Shino is not wearing gloves and only has sunglasses on his face. The man who came in was wearing gloves and the upper half of his face was covered by a mask. In Naruto's consciousness, Fengxu had doubts and thoughts on his face. Abarame takes root. Isn't he a root ninja led by Danzo? Why is he here? Does he have thoughts about Naruto? Kakashi, the leading teacher in the original plot, did not come, but Abarame came to take root? Obviously, something has changed in the plot. Even though Sarutobi Hiruzen was not dead, Danzo and his roots actually showed up in advance. Outside. Are you our leading teacher? Seeing the man who came in opening his mouth to follow him, Naruto tilted his head and asked a question. Idiot, it must be the teacher leading the team. Sakura, who had already stood up and walked out obediently, hit Naruto on the head with a violent kick. If we weren't the leading teacher, how would we know we were in class 7 and in this position? What a disgusting orphan who doesn't know how to observe, only knows how to lie, and lacks parental discipline. Obviously, Sakura is still upset about what happened at noon. However, she didn't dare to tell her about losing her first kiss in front of Sasuke, so she could only get angry at Naruto. Naruto didn't care much about Sakura's harsh words. He just held his head and shouted that it hurt, with an apologetic smile on his face. After all, compared to the vicious curses of the villagers, Sakura's words were as weak as playing house. Naruto didn't care what Sakura said, but it hit Sasuke's pain point. You must know that he is also an orphan without parents now. Seeing that Naruto didn't refute Sakura's words, he still had a silly smile on his face. Sasuke stood up and came to the front of the two people, and a cold voice came out of his mouth. No one wants to be an orphan, no one wants to be without parents to discipline them, and no one wants to be hated by others. You don't understand the kind of loneliness where you are alone at home and no one can tell you what you can and cannot do, and you will just easily scold the uneducated and annoying orphan because of his mistakes. Having said this, Sasuke looked at Sakura with a piercing coldness in his eyes. You really make me feel sick. Makes me feel sick, makes me feel sick, makes me feel sick. Sasuke's words echoed in Sakura's mind, and she petrified in place like a sculpture. Naruto looked at Sasuke with a moved expression. It turns out that Sasuke is just like him, he understands his daily mood and the feeling of loneliness. When he looked at Sasuke's handsome face, he suddenly felt less annoying. And you still like it? Hastily throw away the scary thoughts in your mind. Naruto quickly turned his head away and stopped looking at Sasuke, fearing that he would bend in the next second. I am your leader, Abarame. Abarame, who stood at the door and witnessed the love triangle process, stopped watching the show. He didn't know when Kakashi would come, so he said immediately after announcing his home address. So stop talking nonsense and come with me now, immediately, immediately. Without giving Naruto and the other three a chance to refuse, Abarame turned around and walked outside. Sasuke frowned in confusion at the impatience of the teacher in front of him, but he didn't say much and followed quickly. When Naruto saw this, he pulled Sakura, who looked hopeless, and chased after her. But as soon as the three of them walked out of the school, they heard the swishing sounds of the rooms in the surrounding bush building, as well as the clanging sounds of hitting. This is an offensive and defensive drill between Umbu, an exercise used to ensure that the village is not invaded by foreign enemy spies. As soon as the doubts and wariness of the three people arose, they were dispelled by Abarame's explanation. Although it is a bit far away, it is not very clear. But those who fought did wear Umbu's mask. You should walk faster so as not to interfere with their drill. Using this excuse, Abarame took the route and ran with the three of them. As the roads become narrower and narrower, the population becomes less and less dense. Abarame and Naruto gradually approached the forest of death. Naruto, be careful. This Abarame has problems with his roots. Don't follow him into the forest of death. There is a root base in the death forest, a territory belonging to the root. A gentleman would not stand under a dangerous wall, and Fengxu did not want to be in such a dangerous place. So he directly warned Naruto not to go in. Has a problem. Naruto was shocked, and his steps suddenly stopped. He also felt that something was wrong more or less, and thought it was an illusion. But now Fengxu can't say it's wrong, so it's definitely not his illusion. We're almost there, why did you stop? Seeing Naruto stop, Abarame immediately stopped taking the route, then turned back a few steps and came to Naruto's side. Naruto took a few steps back again, moving away from the approaching Abarame, with a guarded look on his face. Why did you bring us into the forest of death? Naruto, what are you doing? Why did you stop and retreat suddenly? Teacher Gagan said we'll be there soon, so don't lose your temper. Sakura, who was worried all the way, didn't notice anything was wrong. She just wanted to get somewhere quickly and end the day quickly so she could go home and cry on her pillow. Idiot, didn't you find anything wrong? Naruto didn't say anything, but Sasuke came to Naruto's side in a flash, with the same guarded look on his face. On the first day we got along, they took us to a dangerous place like the Forest of Death, and they didn't say why. I passed several training grounds on the way. They could be used for first training or meetings, but I didn't even look at them. You also said that Naruto doesn't know how to observe. I think you lack the qualities to be a ninja. Sasuke, who already had a bad feeling for Sakura, showed no emotion in his words. Why are you still dazing there? Come here quickly. Sakura, who was scolded, looked aggrieved, and quickly came to the two of them. Seeing that his purpose was discovered, Abarame was too lazy to continue pretending. Just 2 Quasi Genin, plus a Jinchuriki who can use a little bit of 9 Tails power. He was an elite Jonin, and with the means given by Danzo, he didn't need much effort to deal with a few people. He moved his limbs wantonly and said in a cold tone, why do you think you are so smart? Why don't you just follow me honestly? If it's like this, I can only ask you to suffer some hardships. Speaking of suffering, Abarame had already arrived in front of the three of them. With just one kick, Sasuke on the left was kicked in the stomach and flew backwards spitting out acidic water. Then there was another palm, and Sakura on the right was hit on the forehead, her eyes rolled back and she fell to the ground. He is not the Kakashi who taught the 3 people in the original plot. He used all his strength to attack, killing the 2 people except Naruto in an instant. Sakura, Sasuke. Looking at Sasuke who could only barely raise his head on the ground, and Sakura who was unconscious. Naruto's eyes were about to burst, and the angry murderous intent burst out from his eyes. Asshole, you dare to hurt them, I will fight with you. Multiple shadow clone techniques. Chapter 19 You are 9 Tails. A few ninja seals were formed. Hundreds of Naruto suddenly appeared and surrounded Abarame. This amount of chakra is exactly what the intelligence said. Abarame Taijin did not panic at all, but looked at many Narutos with interest. Naruto also had no intention of saying harsh words, and directly swarmed up and completely buried Abarame with his roots. But the next second, bang, 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 one after another, Naruto continued to turn into air and disappear. The buried Abarame took the root with a kunao, a sword, and a shadow clone in his hand. It wasn't until the last time that Naruto took the kunao back to the side of his leg. He just held Naruto's head with one hand and held him in front of him. From the beginning to the end, it only took less than 1 minute to subdue the 3 Abarame. This is the strength of elite Jonin and the top power of a village. Asshole, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to kill you. Naruto was caught, waving his hands and feet with his teeth and claws. But as he only knows multiple shadow clone, he can't touch the Abarame root in front of him. Looking at Naruto, whose mood was fluctuating violently, Abarame suddenly remembered something. As his expression changed, he hurriedly raised his other hand. Is he going to come out? No, I have to take action quickly, otherwise. Muttering in his mouth, Abarame took the root of his palm and curled his claws in the air. A blue chakra lit up on each finger. With these chakra, he slapped his 5 fingers heavily on the 8-sign seal on Naruto's abdomen. 5 elements seal? This is the method Danzo gave him to strengthen the seal and cut off the 9 tails chakra. Otherwise, he really has no confidence that he can bring back Naruto, who can use the power of 9 tails in a short time. The pain in his abdomen made Naruto cry out in pain. But Abarame's muttering reminded him of Fengxu. Suddenly, I began to cry out urgently in my heart. Fengxu, come out quickly, I've been caught again. He also injured Sasuke and knocked Sakura unconscious. Come out and beat him to death, just like when you beat Mizuki to death. Facing Naruto's call for help, Fengxu in his consciousness did not answer. Look at the black value that keeps beating on the system panel. He looked expectantly at Abarame's root outside. If that's not enough, give me some more force. If you, an elite Jonin, are worse than Mizuki, I will look down on you. What Abarame took the root to strengthen was Naruto's 9-tails seal. What does it have to do with his Fengxu 9 tails? When he comes out, elite Jonin Taijutsu plus 1-tail chakra mode will still crush him? Outside, Abarame looked at the 5 elements seal mark emerging from Naruto's abdomen and finally felt relieved. The look he looked at Naruto was no longer cautious. Your secondary personality hasn't appeared until now. It seems that you don't dare to show up without the power of 9 tails. Originally, I wanted to experience it, but now it seems that it is nothing more than this. My expectations were in vain. Abarame shook his head and took out a rope to tie Naruto up. Then he brought the tied Naruto to Sasuke, who was still vomiting stomach acid, and tied him up too. As for Sakura, who fell to the ground, he just kicked her into the forest beside the road. Sasuke is the posthumous son of the Uchiha clan and a hostage against Uchiha Itachi. He is as useful as Naruto. And Sakura is just a commoner, completely useless to the roots. Abarame took her with him before taking the root just to paralyze Naruto and Sasuke. Sakura. Seeing Sakura being kicked away like a rag, Naruto's eyes were a little bloodshot. The look in Abarame's eyes that looked back at him was filled with brutal murderous intent. This time Naruto didn't need to ask in his mind, the system sent a prompt. The main personality's emotion reaches the critical value. Do you want to switch personalities? Fengxu did not switch immediately, but looked at the blackening value. Current blackening value, 5,000. It's not bad. It's increased by 2,800, which is no worse than Shuima. Fengxu feels that this kind of sudden plot that is separated from the original plot can be repeated several times in the future. It would be best if he could quickly redeem half of 9 tails to reach the elite shadow level. Exchange Jonin Taijutsu, Abarame root, -500. Current blackening value, 4,500. Conveniently, he used the blackening value to exchange for Abarame's root removing Jonin body surgery. Fengxu then said to the system, switch personalities. Outside world. Abarame was preparing to leave with Naruto and Sasuke on his left and right, and his expression suddenly changed. The next second, his figure disappeared from the spot and appeared a few meters away. As expected of elite Jonin, your response is quick enough. At the place where Abarame took the root and disappeared, the wind that controlled the body landed safely. By the way, he also caught Sasuke, who was tied up. Naruto. No, you are not Naruto. Naruto became Fengxu, and Sasuke felt it clearly. The original feeling of kindness and purity that wanted people to get close disappeared. Naruto now only gave him a kind of tearing indifference and terror. I am Naruto. Fengxu grinned, revealing a big smile that made Sasuke very uneasy. Then he cut the rope binding Sasuke with a strike of his sword and threw him towards the forest where Sakura fell. Looking at Fengxu's movements, Abarame took root and did not make a sneak attack. He asked cautiously, Whirlpool Fengxu. Uzumaki Naruto's sub-personality. Fengxu turned to look at him, and the smile on his lips became even brighter. Bingo, that's the right answer. As a reward, I'll let you get close to the 9 tails chakra that you miss so much. The moment he finished speaking, the light red chakra poured out freely. In an instant, it covered Fengxu's whole body. A long light red chakra fox tail extends from the back, flying freely in the air. The violent evil aura also swept out. Terrifying momentum and coercion filled the world. 9 tails chakra. Impossible? I have clearly strengthened the seal to prevent chakra from leaking. Abarame's face was full of disbelief, and he looked at Fengxu as if he were looking at a monster. Oh, why didn't I know I was sealed? A cold voice, wrapped in a heart-stopping evil aura, appeared behind Abarame. So fast? Abarame was shocked. Naruto, who was originally standing in front, was now only a slowly dissipating afterimage. Whoosh! At the same time, the harsh whistling sound of sharp objects cutting through the air also sounded behind him. No time to dodge. Aberame could only pull out the kunai from the outside of his legs, turned around and crossed it in front of his chest. However, click! The sound of an object breaking came from Aberame's body. Aberame was seen blocking the kunai in front of him, and was pressed close to his chest by the huge light red tail. A little blood spilled from his mouth and nose. He was injured in just one initial blow. Aberame didn't hesitate to take the route. He quickly retreated before Fengxu made another move. At the same time, the eyes looking at Fengxu were even more frightened and fearful. No, you are not a subpersonality at all. You are the Nine Tails from 12 years ago. Chapter 20. Why aren't you dead yet? Aberame's shout was so loud that Sasuke, who was checking Sakura's injuries from a distance, heard clearly. Nine Tails broke the seal. That Naruto just now was actually the consciousness of Nine Tails. Sasuke's face was also full of shock, but there was a trace of happiness in his eyes. If Naruto, who had multiple shadow clone before, could catch up with just a little effort. Now, Naruto, who is like a demon with Aberame's root pressed in front of him, is the existence he needs to look up to. So he was a little lucky that such a powerful Naruto was not Naruto himself. It's the Nine Tails inside Naruto? Thinking of this, Sasuke even unconsciously smiled. Well, it hurts. After Sasuke briefly treated her injuries, Sakura woke up at this time. He opened his eyes to see Sasuke with a smile on his face. Suddenly he seemed to think of something and shouted in surprise. Sasuke, did you save me? What happened to the enemy disguised as a teacher? Hearing Sakura's voice, Sasuke immediately put away his smile. SHH, don't yell. Sasuke raised his finger in front of his mouth to make a silencing gesture, and then pointed forward. I didn't save you, it was Naruto who saved us. Looking in the direction of Sasuke's finger, Sakura also saw a scene that made her unbelievable. Aberame, who had just killed her with one blow, was now injured and dodging Naruto's attack. There is also Naruto, who is not as optimistic and heartless as before. Although he still had a smile on his face, there was no warmth in his eyes, only coldness and cruelty. The evil, ominous, and terrifying aura of disaster emitted by the red chakra made Sakura's back feel cold and her heart panicked. That's Naruto. What's wrong with him? Why is he so powerful, so scary? If this was Naruto who cheated on his first kiss this afternoon, Sakura didn't dare to hit Naruto until his head was full of bruises, nor did she dare to resist. And inexplicably, Sakura feels that this scary Naruto is somewhat handsome and charming. As soon as this thought appeared, Sakura quickly shook it out of her mind. Maybe it's because he's as indifferent as Sasuke. Yes, that's definitely the case. What did you say? Sasuke frowned and looked back, wondering what Sakura was so crazy about. No, it's nothing. Look over there, Naruto is moving again. Sakura, who had spilled the beans, quickly turned her attention to the battlefield ahead. Sasuke didn't pay attention anymore and quickly fixed his gaze forward again. Ahead. Fengxu heard someone call him Nine Tails again, and he picked his ears speechlessly. It's really boring, can't you say it differently? For example, I am the fourth Hokage, or the consciousness of the previous Jinchuriki. Hearing what Fengxu said, Aberame was stunned for a moment. It's true that he had some preconceptions. Maybe the personality in front of me is really the chakra left by Minato or Kushina. The reason is to protect their only descendant, Naruto. However, as soon as he thought about this conjecture, he felt that it was full of loopholes. How could the people in front of me who only used Taijutsu and Nine Tails chakra be those two? If it were really those two, he should be facing the Flying Thunder God Raiznon now, or the sealing techniques of the Whirlpool clan. Damn Nine Tails Demon Fox, you are so cunning, I almost got deceived by you. You talked to me so much during the battle, but you didn't directly kill me. That means that the power you can use now, as you show, is chakra with only one tail. So you are bluffing and stalling for time until the Hokage is directly under Ambu's support. The more Aberame talks about it, the more he feels that his analysis is correct. The panic on his face slowly calmed down and he regained his composure. Thinking about it carefully, he was injured just now because of Fengxu's sneak attack. And because he was frightened by the Nine Tails chakra, he only used Taijutsu against Fengxu and did not use ninjutsu at all. He is not a Taijutsu ninja, but his strength is above ninjutsu. Am I stalling for time? Aberame's words made Fengxu laugh out loud. How dare someone who was injured by him with just one blow dare to underestimate him? You are very confident, but I don't know how long your strength will keep you confident. The moment he finished speaking, the ground beneath Fengxu's feet suddenly cracked. The next second, he appeared in front of Aberame Nori again, with his tail slashing down behind him. And Aberame had already prepared for taking root. I saw him biting the glove with his mouth and taking it off, revealing the palm with bright purple skin inside. Then two palms flew towards the chopped fox tail. Sizzle! The moment the fox tail touched the palm, there was a sizzling sound. The light red was instantly climbed up by the purple, forming a purple Madara. Phosphorus, the nanoscale poisonous insect I cultivated, is also the ninjutsu I am proud of. How do you feel? Aberame's expression was calm, but his words were filled with pride. As Danzo's most capable right-hand man, his ninjutsu would give any ninja with cage-level strength a headache. If you accidentally touch it, your skin will peel off even if you die? No, they're just bugs that can be easily crushed to death. Fengxu sneered, and drew back his light red fox tail. The purple Madara above also disappears at a speed visible to the naked eye. He is not Naruto who borrowed the power of 9 tails, this is his own chakra without any barriers. When covering his whole body, he is like 9 tails, equivalent to a ball of chakra polymer. As long as the chakra is not exhausted, even if he were soaked in these phosphorus bugs, nothing would happen to him. All I can say is that Abarame was unlucky enough to run into him. If it were an elite jonin, Fengxu might really have to fight hard. I hope you won't blame me for destroying Jinchuriki in the future. Abarame raised his hands in front of his mouth with cold eyes and puffed his cheeks. Secret technique, poisonous dust technique. The bulging cheeks blow out a lot of air. In an instant, a purple mist separated from his palm and wrapped around Fengxu in front of him. Fengxu did not dodge or dodge, and even took the initiative to enter the purple poisonous mist. You're really looking for death. Abarame-Tajin's eyes became fierce when he saw this, and he blew out more poisonous mist again. Only half a minute passed. In addition to being wrapped in a layer of purple, Fengxu could still move around with a smile on his face. That's it. Fengxu shook his head in disappointment. Abarame's face also looked ferocious, and he continued to blow out poisonous mist. Impossible. Even if there is a chakra barrier, my poisonous insects will penetrate deep into it and enter the skin and bones. What on earth did you do? Why aren't you dead yet? The poisonous insect he is good at has no effect at all. Abarame was so proud just now when he took the root, but now he is ashamed and angry. I'm not dead, but you are? Fengxu, who was pacing in the poisonous mist, had already stood in front of Abarame when he was distracted by his words. Then he raised his hand and grabbed his arm. At the same time, the 9 tails chakra on the surface also extended a hand, grabbed his neck and lifted it into the air.